Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last What's 3D Printing ever. We welcome you to your favorite 4:30 p.m. Sunday East Coast time live stream that you'll never get to attend again.
This is the finale.
All good things must come to an end. What's that?
We're going to end it on a cliffhanger.
That's right. We won't tell you what's coming next. I am Glenn from Fun King 3D, if you have not yet figured that out. And of course, with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, James from Print and Play.
Hello.
And we are going to attempt to have a guest with us today, if we can work out some technical difficulties. Uncle Ron from Uncle Ron's 3D Pub will be joining us. I'm tired, man. I'm tired.
Yep. It's been a long day.
Working hard. Oh, apparently Zach is joining us as well. What's you building today, buddy? It's a 13 and 1. You got to pick which one you want to build, though.
All 13. Go for it. Speed build.
Build one, tear it down. Build one, tear it down. Build one, tear it down. Let me run down through the list here real quick. If I can find my mouse pointer. Freddie Alsef is here. Builder's Mark is here. Tony Ryan, Maker Viking, Alan Osborne, Clint, Schmitch 3D. That naked 3D guy is here. Uncle Ron has popped into the chat, and Glenn Hogue is here. Greetings from Alabama.
Oh, technically I would have been here sooner, but somebody was in the way of my chair.
Oh, look at that. Uncle Ron is here live.
Oh, technically that is a problem.
We should check your audio level.
I probably just blew everybody's ears out.
Probably. Go ahead and talk.
Go ahead and talk.
You guys are pretty good.
Let's say what?
That's perfect. That's the level you want to use.
What's up, James?
Oh, Bush, how are you?
Pretty good. You? I just said that. Never mind.
And you?
Well, never ending loop.
And you?
See, that's smart. If we get stuck in an endless loop, then the stream never ends.
That's right.
What are we gonna do for a seat for you?
So it's I'll grab them. They're underneath the rep box.
Get them.
Oh, I gotta
Sure. The only person not of legal age to be the one on a bar stool.
Gotta finally move my rep box.
Hey, Ultralight there. AJ. Sonic Alchemy, a Maker's Space.
AJ, alternate James. So I'm kind of scanning back through chat, and yet
nobody cares.
No.
Is there shenanigans in the house?
No, Tony Ryan did say he's eaten all of his pre-movie snacks, and now he's thirsty.
I didn't even take time to grab a drink before I came down, so I'm sad.
Wow. So no Coke Zero for you?
I mean, I could toss a couple of the 5,000 empty cans I've got down on the stream. We got roasted vanilla Diet Coke, but it's extra caffeine.
Really?
Yeah.
Roasted vanilla Diet Coke.
And it's got 67 milligrams of caffeine. 67 grams.
I mean, like I've heard of vanilla Coke Zero and vanilla Coke.
This is the first time we've hit it because vanilla Coke and vanilla Coke Zero are probably my favorite Cokes of all time. So we haven't seen vanilla Coke Zero here in a while. We get cherry Coke Zero quite often. But the vanilla one's pretty good.
Interesting.
I just misread AJ's comment. I thought he said, "Help, Uncle Ron." I'm like, really? I can't even reach him in Germany. He's afraid of me.
Carl said, "Advertising Coke, time to unfollow." Well, we're shooting for that sponsorship. And then Mitch 3D said, "Not sponsored by Coke." Not yet.
Dr. Pepper is superior to Coke, said nobody ever.
So, for those of you who are my Patreons, I thank each and every one of you. I sent out an update talking about some changes that were coming. You guys actually already know what's happening. And that there was word of a possible live stream sponsorship. Unfortunately, that did not come together.
I see my video spazzing.
Yeah, your video's blinking out.
Let me see if it's doing that in OBS or if it's...
Well, you're getting more gray than me. You're going completely gray. the whole screen.
Is it still doing it?
No,
No,
you're
it seems
behaving
to be
now.
all right. All right, listen, I wouldn't open all the bags. I would only open the bags as the book tells you to, because these parts right here look really crucial.
From what I recall, there's one section that's like universal that gets like a main section build, and then there's the other parts get put on depending on what you're going to add into it.
Wow, that book looks terribly confusing.
This book is miserable.
So
This is going to be like a homework project.
but yeah, the sponsorship did not pan out, but no hard feelings because we're in the works with that same company for other projects, which is cool.
Yeah.
I totally understand the reasoning why they opted not to, so that's okay.
You're insane.
Well, I wanted too much money. I wanted $1 million an episode, and they just weren't up for that.
After 150K.
But
at least negotiable.
with the nope, $1 million. with the lack of sponsorship for these streams, we've decided that it's just not worth doing them anymore. So there will no longer be what's 3D printing. It was a terrible idea to begin with.
First of all, it almost never centered around 3D printing.
No.
It
It always seems to be more about other projects than 3D printing, which is cool because, I mean, as a maker, I'm not always just doing 3D printing. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, for the last few days, I've been running electrical in the garage, and Uncle Ron was helping with that today. So, today's project would be running electrical.
But he didn't give me any like special electrocute yourself video footage. I mean, I was hoping to get a quick.
No. I only hold the live wires in my mouth so that they don't touch my hands. No, I'm a very good electrician. I've read the entire NEC code handbook cover to cover multiple times, at least the 2008 version, which is a little outdated now, but still enough to know what I'm doing. Mitch says, what's 3D printing? The world may never know. Nope. No, nobody will ever find out because there was never an answer to the question.
Yeah.
So do we let the cat out of the bag there, James?
Well, I mean, I hope we're not throwing the cat in the bag in the river, so.
Oh, no, I would never do that. So we don't want to not stream anymore. James and I like to hang out, and we love doing these streams, and we love each and every one of you guys.
Except for that one guy.
What's that?
Except for that one guy.
Except that one guy, right. But so we've decided that a rebranding was better than quitting. So these are no longer what's 3D printing. These streams are now known as Project Talk with James and Glenn, and today Uncle Ron.
Featuring
Coconut. So we're going to obviously continue our 4:30 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time
for at least
time slot. But we're opening it up so that it's not 3D printing specific. It will be about whatever project that we're working on at the time, whatever projects that we're thinking about working on. And of course, if there's projects that you guys want to see, we'd always be open to suggestions. Is the cat alive, dead, or both? You'll have to ask Schrodinger about that.
If there were projects that they're working on that they're looking for input on how to possibly
absolutely,
reach the end point.
I mean, the talk goes to your guys' projects too, not just us. So I really hate it when they call me that one guy. I have a name. Dang, he's on to me. So no, that one guy knows who he is. He knows who he is. And the first person to be banned from a Project Talk with James and Glenn is Tony Ryan.
I thought for sure it would have been Carl.
No, that's totally funny. That's a funny comment. And Chrome adds a touch of class to the train wreck. No doubt. So.
You spelled talk.
What?
No, you didn't. I just figured to make you look at it.
Glenn Hook says, I'm working on a project today. New struts and tie rods on my van. Oh, that sounds like tons of fun. I just did struts and shocks and brakes on our Ford Flex. And it was not fun. It's not fun at all.
Flex, but okay. I'm going to keep making that joke.
The only struts I do is when I walk with attitude.
You're so confused. This might be a better project to wait and not do on stream.
This manual I went over with Anthony. It's miserable.
Yeah, you might want to wait on this until you and I can do it together, where I can pay attention. because it looks really confusing.
There's no wind mouth in it, but the directions aren't much different.
No, it looks like it's more written in Chinese, and then they threw some English in there.
For the words that didn't exist in Chinese. That's the only reason it's in English.
Yeah. Yeah, because it looks like you build the gearbox first. So why don't you wait on this one? Yeah. Yeah, you can just leave it right here. We don't even have to. Okay, there you go, back in the box. But
So we presently have 26 people watching and only 7 likes.
26 watching and only 7 likes?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like it and I'm watching.
That's ridiculous. All right.
I can go up top.
Glenn said I have shocks and brakes to do as well, but I'm not going to try to squeeze that all in today.
Put this underneath.
Mitch said I tensioned the steel cable across my room for suspending VR cable. That's a great idea. Steel cable and some shower curtain hooks would.
Need it?
Dum Dum Dev is building a desk for my son.
Put it here.
Not for my son, for their son.
I was like, well, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come build one for my kid too, that'd be all right.
I'm supposed to build a new desk for down here, but then Kay was talking. She's like, you know what? She's got a sit stand desk with the electric motors. She goes, I think I'd be a better use of this space in my room if I had a corner desk. I said, well, I'm going to wait till you decide, because if you're going to replace your desk with a corner desk, I'm going to take your desk and put it downstairs.
There you go. Yeah.
Sit stand would be great.
Then you got to build that tripod that I've been talking about building for a while with the motor, and then hook it to the table. So when you tell the table to go up, the camera goes up too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I can attach them with a cord and a pulley, right? So basically, like as the it's all about how you weight it, but essentially you can have it so as the desk goes up, the camera goes up at the exact same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you could actually mount the camera to the desk, but then if you bump the table, you're shaking the camera.
That's why I've got my super crappy hanging camera set up. I punched a hole through a ceiling tile and then put a screw through it and attached that to a kind of like a selfie stick. So.
Tony Ryan said, I want Glenn to print that Flexi Slug the 3D printing nerd did, but as big as her can. He can? Oh, on the FK1. I'm not even sure what the Flexi Slug is.
I'm not even sure the FK1 can print.
It can't. It doesn't. That's why I don't ever print on it, because it failed.
He's got filament.
All the bad prints have happened when the cameras are not rolling.
That's the only PETG that's ever been in that printer.
Really?
But it's never made it all the way to the nozzle. That's totally a sham.
It's just propped in there.
I did that for the video where I made the little buckets for my welding cart. Those were all printed on the Prusa. But in the video, I made it look like they were printed on the FK1. And really the only people that knew that were the people that watched the stream, because I printed them while I was on stream.
And I knew it. I just didn't comment on it until we discussed it during the next stream. You're all surprised, like nobody said anything about that. And I'm like, oh, you mean the fact that you clearly printed them on a different printer and then just piled them up and then had it drop or had the thing raised and the bed.
Oh yeah, I didn't just pile them up. I laid them down and used a ruler to space them to make them look legitimate on the bed.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Wow, you put a lot of effort into your lies.
Yes, I put way more effort into faking it than it would have been to just print it. But I've never printed PETG on that, so I don't even know if it'll do it. I mean, I'm sure it will, but
it's got a solid. It's got an E3D all metal hot end, right?
Yeah,
it will.
There's no reason it wouldn't. I just never tried it, because everything PETG that I print, I go to the Prusa, because that's my PETG printer.
I've seen this thing probably about half a dozen times or more now. I just noticed now that you've got yellow ribbon cables on it too.
Yes, I do. I'm telling you, it's all about the branding. Absolutely. As much stuff as I could get right, I got right. So, but I just, it's been a couple of really hellacious weeks with work. So I haven't had a chance to, because normally, like while I'm working, is also when I do my 3D printing and stuff. But oh, you coming back? What you got there? I don't know if anybody can see that. Can we give you your own camera? Zach is saying thumbs up. Everybody thumbs up the video.
Oh, he's moving it upside down. He's telling everybody thumbs down.
Otherwise, he's got to cry himself to sleep on his huge pillow again tonight. So, but yeah, I haven't had any time during the day, but I want to redesign and print the electrical box for the far side of that, so that the bed has its own power cord.
Oh, so it's the old power plant.
That would be nice. No, my thought is then I can run it on a much smaller battery backup, because I'd only be backing up the electronics portion of it, not that heat bed. Mm-hmm. I can't truly afford the battery backup to back up that heat bed. And the one that I bought a 1500. It ended up on Homie G's computer over there because his was excessively sucking down the power on the 450. So
head leg doll.
I got a new laptop this week, and it's powerful enough to run my VR headset, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Got to get into those VR games so I can go find your son and then pwn him.
Fraud.
Builder's Mark said my phone powered off, and then I thought I missed this. So that means that Mark just missed everything that we said. Wow. Missed all the important stuff. So, but for anybody that's out there, we are looking for a sponsor specifically for the streams. I mean, you can sponsor anything you want, but we're looking for a stream sponsor, and your name will appear lovingly down in this bottom right-hand corner. Unfortunately, that it just didn't work out. And again, no hard feelings. Totally understand why they opted to not do it. They said they would, but they couldn't stand James's voice.
They said something similar to me about you.
See how I bring that back around?
Yep.
But no, again, they are sponsoring some things outside of the live streams for both James and I, which is really cool. There's some neat projects coming up that that'll be somewhat 3D printing related. At least mine will be. Well, yours usually always are too.
There's always some 3D print. Well, not always. Quite often, there's some 3D printing involved.
Yeah. So, Chris Riley in the house.
What's up, Chris?
He says, "So project talk, but I never found out what 3D printing was." We didn't either, and that's why we gave up. We're just like, nobody would give us the answer. We were here to learn, not to teach, and
so, like we were literally asking the same question week after week, and nobody bothered to talk about it. So, James wants to know which VR headset I have. I have an Oculus Rift. It is a few years old at this point. It's like seeing the real world only through a screen door, but only a little bit through a screen door.
Clint asked, "What OS am I running on my NAS?" I actually run. It's not truly a NAS. It is a Ubuntu Linux server that I use Samba server to share my drives. So it's not a NAS.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to try loading an Open NAS with their setup onto a Raspberry Pi.
Seems to work pretty well.
Yeah,
the Pi 4 for sure. So
the truth is, Glenn's NAS setup is so finicky. It's actually called a NAS T.
A NAS T.
Yeah.
I think that all depends on how you configure the drives. Like if you have a single stack with, all right, that was just going bad.
Yes, I saw a couple of
friendly, remember?
Oh no, it didn't. It was just a bad joke.
Yeah, I saw a couple of hard drive racks already pre-designed for racking your hard drives to attach to the USB for the Open NAS.
Yeah, they actually have one that fits in a 19-inch rack.
Oh, really?
And there's Builder Mark throwing down $10 US. My sponsorship for today's stream, all 15 seconds of it, because Loyal will bump me out. So
I haven't seen Loyal in chat yet, though. You might have snuck it in there.
This segment is now sponsored by Builder's Mark.
We should turn it into a competition and then put how much they sponsored at the end of it, and then it's like you have to put in at least this much to take over the spot. See, always thinking.
Always thinking, yeah. Except for those aren't easy to edit. I have to actually create a new one and delete the old one.
So it's a sponsor auction.
Yes, because I will sell out for anything. I feel like you're like so much taller than me, and I can't make
I
my
am.
chair go up any
Well,
higher.
I'm looking at the camera, and
Can you squat your chair down a little bit so that I
I'm
don't
looking
feel...
at the camera, and it's like I look so much wider than you too.
Well, you are.
I look wider than both of you, so back off.
What's that?
I said I look wider than both of you, so back off. I'd like to blame this on COVID, but COVID hasn't been going since I was an early teenager. So, speaking of COVID, so as I was saying before, I took a trip to pick up my mother-in-law today. She's down here for a couple of days. She's got some appointments, and we stopped at a coffee shop at the midway point. That's where Kay's dad drove her part of the way, and we met up in this middle ground. And I go into the washroom. There's a giant sign on the door that says one person in the bathroom at a time, and they've closed it down to all but one stall, and there's no urinal. So like you have to use that one stall, which is easier for them to clean, and also it limits people from going in.
And it keeps all the disease in that one stall.
Yeah, exactly. So if anybody goes in there, they know they've got it. That's the important.
So like orange juice, it's a disease concentrate.
Yes, exactly. So I go in, close the door up, and I hear the main door open and close. And the area is big enough for a sink, a urinal, and then at the end is the stall. So it's like not long enough for me to lie down in, right?
Okay.
And then I hear the door.
Why would you want to?
Yeah, not that I would suggest doing
No,
that.
but if I'm trying to give you a sense of scale.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So somebody just poked in, saw somebody's in here and left. So finish up, flush, walk out. The guy's literally standing right in front of the door. I have to brush up against him to walk past him. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
like, and they've actually got like stickers on the floor to say, like, if you're waiting for the washroom, here's the spaced out so you can have like 5 people waiting for the washroom. But this guy's like, no, I think I'll just cram myself in here. Like, if he wanted to make it any more awkward, he would have had to actually get into the stall with me.
That would have been awkward.
H. Johnson said, objects may appear closer than they are. Objects may be closer than they appear.
You should have just sneezed on him, James.
Sorry about that. Just a touch of the Rona.
Yeah. Mark, no Coke sponsor yet. We're waiting for all of you guys to start the campaign, emailing Coke, telling them that we're awesome.
We had RC Cola reach out, but we said that's not crap.
We only won $1 million an episode. No, the sponsor that I was talking to, because James was like, "No, you deal with it. I'm not dealing with it."
Your channel. I ain't your dad.
Well, not only that, but I wouldn't want you to
Drop the F-bomb.
No, I wouldn't want you to risk what you have going. But no, the sponsor that I was talking to, their biggest concern was it was a long stream. 2 hours is a long time, and we wouldn't be specifically talking about them.
Yeah.
So that's all right. I understand.
So I have to do this?
Yeah, there you go. What'd you do? Did you drink yours already?
Well, you're the Coke Zero. I wanted a regular Coke for you.
Oh. Mark, no, not yet.
I finished that other one.
That's still in the works. It hasn't happened yet. So, but I'm absolutely exhausted. It is. I meant to download that picture.
Eagle ladder.
Yeah. Actually, I might be able to pull that up. If I've got this, I want to share something with you guys. It's a new segment that I call Bad Ideas Glenn Had This Week.
Featuring all of Glenn's ideas from this week.
What's 3D printing? I think it's called artificial appendages.
So my garage has a 14-foot eave height, and it's a 112 pitch. So by the time it gets to the middle, it's about 15 and a half feet tall. Okay, which isn't necessarily terribly bad. What's terribly bad is the tallest ladder that I own.
3 foot.
Is 10 feet. David Randolph throwing down 1999. How come that's orange?
Maybe he hit the next level tier.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Is there a message or something attached to it?
No, but it came through as a super chat. So thank you to Dave Randolph. Give me a second here because I don't think I have a banner for you.
So is it sponsored by Dave Randolph, or you want to turn around and throw in the BS?
Oh, I would never do any shameless plugs for Printed Solid.
I still say they have to change their name if they're planning to sell resin, though. Although I guess it's Solid in the end.
It depends on what your infill is.
All right, so do I have to turn that one off to show that one? Yes. Oh. Sorry, Mark, got bumped out, man.
By $9.99.
So anyway, yeah, the tallest ladder I own is 10 feet, which I'm 6 feet tall. So if I stand on the very top of my 10-foot ladder, I can absolutely reach the top of the garage. What's a bad idea? It's to stand on the very top of a ladder. So I was going to go and buy a 12-foot ladder. Why is my photos
Out of order.
They're all like in a weird order.
Probably alphabetical by month.
No, I did it by date modified. Oh, I bet because I'm not into the right folder. There we go. So I had a great idea. I had a great idea on how to make my 10-foot ladder taller. Give me a second. We're going to share the screen. Ta-da! So what I want to know from everybody is how terrible of an idea is this?
You know what's about my friend Darwin?
At least you safety strapped it.
So what those are is they're two work platforms that are 20 inches tall. What are you doing, James? No, you have to outbid the other guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Canadian $2. That's like
38 cents.
Yeah, it's like 6 cents, man.
I'm not willing to spend that much on a joke.
No, you shouldn't have even spent that much on it. So
yeah.
By the time Google takes their fees, that'll be
that
like
was the minimum amount I could do where it would still let me put a text message attached to it.
Oh.
I tried $1.99 first to match the 99-cent ending of one from Dave.
Yeah, I think Apple products require it to be like they won't let you do a whole dollar.
Really?
It's weird. I don't know. But yeah, so a 12-foot ladder was like $240. And so I already had one of those platforms. I bought the other one for $44. A couple of ratchet straps to hold it down. It's as stable on that thing as it is on the floor.
There was no chance of the two of them rolling over at all, even with the straps?
No, they're pretty wide.
No, I meant as far as each individual one rolling.
Yeah, no, but I mean the legs on each one of those are like about this wide.
Okay.
So.
Oh, you look at the angle out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I did consider putting a 2x4 like across.
Why not a rappelling harness instead of ascenders and just climb up the rope? What you got to do and come back?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think. How terrible of an idea that was. Oh, don't look at that chat. Oh my gosh. Oh, James is gone.
Copyright. At least you use safety straps. There you go. That's what I told you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and in fairness, I only had one on there. To be fair,
I like Riley's idea.
I usually just back my pickup and put the ladder in that. Well, okay, so I did have that thought too, but my pickup truck is so tall
it
that
fit.
even if I did the 8-foot ladder, it would be. Plus, I can't get my truck in where I need to get up on the ladder. So, Ocean would like to have a word with you. Yeah, but it's for me personally. It's not for like anything business. So.
You're not forcing employees up and down.
Right. At least it's not on a wooden pallet. I did consider that. I'll tell you right now. I did consider like building some kind of a wooden platform to put it on. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing, because I went to my wife. I don't make major purchases without telling my wife, either before or immediately after. Like when I came home from Lowe's yesterday, and I said, what constitutes as a lot of money? Because I think I just spent a lot of money at Lowe's. Well, I mean, it was $200 for those 3 spools of wire. But I went to her and I said, hey, I would like to spend about $250 and buy a 12-foot ladder. And she said, fine. She doesn't usually give me guff about buying anything. But the reason that I didn't just run out and buy it is because, one, I don't need it that often. Yeah. I mean, I only need it to reach the very peak, and that doesn't, like, pretty much if those lights burn out, I got to get up there
once every 3 years.
Yeah, like it's pretty infrequent. I mean, I need it now because of running the electrical, but once the electrical's in, I wouldn't need it anymore. 2, where do you store a 12-foot ladder? I mean, it's just big. It's wide. It's
in brackets at where you can reach with your 8-foot.
With the 10-foot ladder, right? Yeah, 10 foot off the ground on the wall. So like there was just a lot of and then it's $250 that instead I spent $200 on wire that I needed. So
James turned into a video screen.
Yeah. But the ladder in the back of the truck, that's how I used to get to put the Christmas lights up on the dormers. I would back the truck up to the house and put the extension ladder in the back with a board and straps so that it wouldn't move.
I've had the A-frame on top of a box truck before. I wasn't proud of doing, but it works.
But I don't know. It just I just thought I'd share that with you because I want you guys to know how crazy I am. Glenn, are you training to be a fall guy? No, I definitely never want to fall. And again, to be fair, I do have a fall harness that at the point that I'm working up that high off the ground, I will harness in.
But you have to get there first.
Right. If I fall before I get there, then it's too bad. With a big enough bribe, ocean never matters.
Oof.
Ocean only matters if you don't live in Florida or Texas. Plus, I'm completely inside my garage. Nobody can see me doing it. Nobody can see me fall and call 911 for me.
Not that it matters. Your phone doesn't work in the garage anyway.
Right.
You got to let somebody know ahead of time. If I'm not back out in 2.5 hours, come looking for me.
Right. So, but yeah, the reason that I didn't end up building, because I was going to take like a sheet of 3/4 plywood, cut it in half, and make a 4x4 4-foot by 4-foot platform, and a 2-foot tall, and put that where I need it. Put the ladder on top of that, and I would have ratchet scrapped that down too. But
so you would have used the 8-foot to get to the top of the 4-foot platform to go up to 10-foot to get to the ceiling.
No, 2-foot platform.
Oh, okay.
And then the 10-foot ladder on that to give me the 12 feet. The problem is to build a 4-foot by 4-foot wooden platform right now. I could have bought 2 ladders.
Yeah.
So, and I looked at one of those little giant ladders.
They're heavy.
They are.
They're ridiculously
heavy. They put wheels on them so that you can roll them. If you watch the video, the guy's like, "You'll never have to lift this ladder." I went to try to pick it up.
You never have to.
You can't. That thing is ridiculous. I mean, it's really cool, but $399 for the biggest one, which would be the one I would need, and it's only then 11.5 feet.
And do you remember the weight on it? It's got to be close to 80 or 90 pounds.
I don't know. I just know that I couldn't pick it up, but I went and picked up the 12-foot ladder, and I was shocked. It weighs less than my 10-foot ladder does. Like I picked it up.
Which one were you looking at? The green one?
No, orange. 300-pound capacity. Yeah.
Okay.
So
because the green ones are really light, but they're so lightweight manufactured that if you get somebody like myself on it, you run the risk of breaking the fiberglass and having.
Well, I've always bought. Well, I used to be over 300 pounds, so I always bought 300-pound capacity ladders. But even now that I've lost the weight, I wouldn't do it. I'd want the.
No, but by the time you carry anything up with you, you're probably getting close to that.
Oh, James, are you still with us?
I am. I'm not on screen.
Yeah. You weren't talking.
You turned into a video monitor for a minute.
You don't need me when you got Uncle Ron there. Don't need you when you got Uncle Ron there either.
What kind of
thanks.
What kind of ladder you got, James?
The kind for fat guys.
Fat guy ladder.
I think the maximum weight, mine's a fiberglass one, but it's fiberglass reinforced and it's good for up to 330 or 340.
By a penny.
Listen, by one cent. I'm working on a project. So I'm working on a project and I'm trying to avoid incurring additional costs because I've already had to order probably about $100 worth of stuff to do this project, and it's literally just for a video. And I at some point had a stockpile of 7-inch LCDs because I was building those mini arcade cabinets. Go through my drawers. I've got, and I wanted to use a 7-inch one specifically. I've got tons of these 9-inch ones and 0 7-inch ones that I can find. But I will find a 7-inch one right after I've finished assembling this with a 9-inch one and done all the changes required to make it work.
Of course.
Can you just put painter's tape around the edge so it looks like a 7-inch one?
Just black it out with electrical tape. So huge thanks to Chris Riley for throwing down the $20 Renos and is now the current segment sponsor.
Until the next person kicks in.
I couldn't read that. I thought I misspelled his name R-L-L-E-Y.
Oh, really? O'Reilly?
Really?
Is it right?
Yeah, it's an I, but it's like
it's really mushed together.
Yeah, the text is like, because look at the I and Chris is the same way.
That's the
Plus, I'm blind.
Well, that's the in-between distance. I don't need my glasses to see something that far, but it still starts getting blurry.
Yeah. Well, at your age.
Yeah.
So
it's funny in the stores when you get the fart dust and confuse people when they disappear in a cloud.
So I don't know if you guys know, but Uncle Ron was down just a couple of weeks ago.
You guys weren't streaming that week.
No, I think that's one of the weeks that we had taken off. But so he wasn't really supposed to be here this week, and I'm like, dude, we need a live guest. And he's like, all right, I'll be right there. So he's like, but he didn't bring me any White Castle this time.
No, it was a last minute thing. You didn't give me enough notice.
No. Plus, I can't imagine riding with that in the car. The smell is really
it goes in the bed of the truck.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, there was only 3 hours worth of warning this time around.
Yeah, it's really funny because I got some freezer White Castles from Sam's the other day, and I had them for lunch. And being that I had the freezer ones that close after having real ones,
you can taste the difference, huh?
Oh my gosh, the freezer ones are awful. So
I wonder if I was to deep freeze them at home in the freezer,
I won't,
and then overnight them.
It's only going to be like another month at the most, and ours will be open.
Yeah.
So, and it's
but then I got to teach them how to make the burgers. There's going to be a learning curve while they learn how to make the stuff.
No, what they did was they did a virtual kitchen, and let people order the food, and then they would just go pick. Like it was like a makeshift drive-through.
So they would virtually starve.
They have a test kitchen, so that they could train their employees, but the demand was so overwhelming they had to stop doing it.
Really?
Yeah, they couldn't keep up with the orders coming in.
Because we finally got Jersey Mike's up by us, and the first time I went in there, I was watching. Down here, you go in there and they just kind of like eyeball it. They slap the stuff on. It's quick, it's fast,
like,
and it's great.
Yeah.
Up home, they were weighing everything out. It's like they were weighing the shredded lettuce. And it's like by the time they were done, it was like, took 15 minutes to make the hero, and then it didn't taste as good.
Well, that's probably how they train the employees, but then that's not how they do it eventually.
Right.
In the long run. So. Mike is joining us. Hello, Mike.
Sorry, Dave.
Chris Riley beat me by 1 penny.
I need to come up with a better mic mount because it actually blocks one of my monitors. Can you still hear me okay right now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Figured it out.
Well, doesn't Chris Riley have a wider product selection to choose from when you want to purchase it than Dave does, or Pretty Solid? Oh, no, Chris doesn't sell anything at all, does he?
No. No, Chris just makes videos.
He might sell his soul, but that's a different thing.
Oh.
Who will save your soul?
He's got to start selling his T-shirts again.
Yeah, mine's really bad. I'm just gonna bootleg my own. Speaking of printed solid, and I got to be careful how I put this up here because I didn't black the label out. But
label's over here.
Yeah. Got my Jesse filament box.
Oh boy,
I can get that. A lot in the label, huh?
Well, yeah, Dave's all about the branding too. So, but I don't think I'm gonna open this one today. I'm gonna wait and do it on its own video. I don't think it gets enough coverage when we do them on these streams because only 6 people watch these.
Was that
streams,
a special order of some kind?
That's the monthly Jesse box.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
the one that you can't get because it was limited, and
Yeah, it was about a half hour too late.
Yeah, those of us who were smart got it right away.
I asked if he would make an exception for me because I'm Canadian, and he said, and I quote, "No."
Well, that's because you're Canadian.
He didn't even say sorry. I didn't know what to do.
Sorry. Look at how they say sorry. Sorry. Mitch 3D said nearest White Castle is like 12-hour drive. Right now, my nearest White Castle is 10 hours. If I leave here and get on the interstate, I can be in White Castle in Kentucky.
So hypothetically, if I wanted to start a side business shipping White Castle to all the people from your stream who may be interested, they pay for the burgers plus shipping, and then obviously there's got to be a bit of overhead covered.
Yeah, you'd have to figure out how to like chill them and stuff.
$4 for a 30-cent burger.
Yeah, you can just go buy them out of the freezer section of your supermarket, because if you don't know better, you don't know better.
Yeah, true. I have to go try crystals again.
I mean, the thing is like the freezer ones are fine, but just eating them that close to regular ones, like I could just tell they're not the same.
Right.
They're not the same. So,
but yeah, I do want to try crystals again. I had one of my other visits down, and I couldn't make a fair comparison how it was with White Castle, because down here they put mustard on the burgers. Up home they don't. So I'm not used to mustard being on the burger, so that's the whole flavor comparison out the window on me. So I got to try them again and tell them to keep the mustard.
Old Curmudgeon asks, "Isn't White Castle the north version of Crystal?" No, get that out of your mouth. Go wash your mouth out with soap immediately.
Would you say it's more like Crystal Light?
It's kind of
okay.
It's kind of that way. Crystals is in the south, and White Castle is in the north. And White Castle only expanded so far because they would never build a restaurant that was any more than a certain distance from their distribution center, so that the ingredients were always fresh. The reason that we're getting a White Castle in Florida now is because the main guy of White Castle vacations here and is retiring here, and I think that's why they finally did it. But
okay, AJ actually might have he wasn't even an 8 to 10 hour drive. He was an 8 to 10 hour or 9 to 10 hour flight.
Yeah. Yeah, but flying is a lot more comfortable than driving. So but if you ever want to compare the two, Crystals and White Castle, I believe it's in Tennessee. There is a White Castle and Crystals almost directly across the street from each other. They're like just a little bit down. Like you can see one from the other one. So you could actually try them both. But at the point that I'm in White Castle territory, I'm not eating Crystals.
Well, up home, it's like McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's seem to all put themselves on opposite corners of an intersection.
Of course, because one of them did the research to figure out where a great place to build is. Then the other ones don't have to pay to do that research.
Okay.
So, I mean, no different.
McDonald's is always the one to do
gas stations.
Well, and Walgreens and CVS's, like they're always
they share a parking lot half the time.
Yeah. So, Glenn Hogue says, "I'm now getting the Jesse box." Did you get in on it like later, Glenn? Like not part of the initial? I don't know if they became available again.
Are there openings again?
I haven't checked lately.
I know that I saw a message from Dave saying that they had expanded at one point ever so slightly. So
well, I've expanded more than slightly, but
so well, I will. I mean, Dave can verify that now. Otherwise, I will verify that before I make my video so that I don't tell lies.
Why are you calling me a liar?
Well, no, I don't want to get on the video and say, if you want the box, too bad, so sad, and then find out that there is actually openings. I mean, it
comes and goes. I would imagine it's probably sold out again. Like we're trying to do.
So, Mitch said they closed the Crystals near me. It's only in Alabama or something. Yeah, they closed the Crystals here too, the one near me, but that's because people kept getting shot there.
So they get to
just
meet
like
the
our
burgers.
Bojangles. Our Bojangles closed down too because there was three shootings in the place that people died, and nobody wanted to eat there anymore.
I mean,
like it's good chicken, but it's not worth dying for.
Yeah, that's gonna be bad for business.
Yeah, they have Bojangles has two kinds of chicken, greasy and extra greasy. Biscuits worth dying over though. Glenn said, "I got in later. My first box arrived yesterday." Awesome. Don't tell me what's in it because I haven't opened mine yet.
The chicken fingers have real fingers?
Yeah. And a gun in their hand.
Yeah. Like a box of trigger fingers, please.
So, What does everybody think of our cool new Project Talk logo?
How do you think they get their hamburger meat?
Depends on who you ask. Some people tell you it's
Kangaroo.
not really hamburger meat, but so I'm excited. I'm excited for the White Castle to come because it's about an hour and 15 minutes from here. So it'd be like, hey, let's go to Orlando to eat some White Castle, and it's close enough, but it won't be like every day.
You gotta pack something else along with an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, there's always stuff to do down there.
Well,
so
true.
I mean, because of COVID, we haven't, like, Xander's needed shoes forever, and we get his shoes from the Reebok place, but not with COVID.
Oh.
So.
He doesn't leave the house. Why does he need shoes?
That's true. He doesn't really go anywhere anymore.
Can he even hear?
I don't know. Has he got headphones on? He's got headphones on. So
either that or he's got a electrical outlet in his head.
It's shiny and chrome, looks like word clip art. Oh, I didn't even think about word clip art. No, it was a template that I scored off the internet. I'm waiting for somebody to make the same comment about the logo that you made, James. I'm not going to say it. I want to see if anybody else mentions it.
I mean, it was a valid comment.
Oh yeah, no. And as soon as you said it, like, I'm like, oh yeah.
Which logo?
The Project Talk logo there. The Project Talk.
Yeah, that's the one they're talking about.
That's the one I was.
I didn't realize
about.
James did it. I think you did it.
No, I did it.
Oh.
Yeah. No. But when I showed it to James, this is a partnership. You know, like we share things, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? I didn't just say, hey, I'm changing the name of the stream. Too bad. I was going to name it.
Yeah, but he's Canadian. You know, he's not going to argue with you.
I was going to name it Project Talk, where we don't drop the F-bomb, but
he couldn't guarantee that.
Right. And it's really funny because, like, I kind of made a joke here in the house. You know, I said Project Talk with Glenn and James has a better ring to it than James and Glenn, but I'm a nice guy, so I put James's name first.
I see, it wasn't alphabetical.
Brian Vine says Reebok to balk again. Reebok are the only shoes that I wear. No sponsor. Because my feet hurt with other shoes. So, and then of course, I mean, you see the shoes that I was wearing out in the garage. Those older, they're falling apart. My toes stick out the front and stuff. You know, that's probably why my feet.
Yeah, they need a Gorilla Tape upgrade.
Well, I actually glued them with shoe goo and shoe goop. Not to be confused with gloop. Gloop does not work. 3D gloop does not work on shoes.
I thought you were saying not at all, and I was like, whoa.
No.
Way to burn a bridge there, buddy.
No, I would never do that to the Andrews. I love 3D gloop.
The Andrews.
I don't feel good about any event in June. Oh, are we talking about the Murphs and the Earths? Oh, Chris Riley said, what do we think about Murph in June? Yeah, no, I don't think we're ready yet. And by we, I mean me. But
yeah. I mean, we were talking about this when I was down last month with the con crud that seems to go around as it is anyway.
You get sick anytime that you're at a convention.
And I thought I was always just losing my voice from talking so much, but I realized I talk nonstop anyway. So it's like, what difference does it make to me?
You're packed in people, and you're touching stuff, and you're touching your face,
and it's variants from all around the country because everybody, actually all around the world because everybody shows up.
Yeah, it's not your own immune group that you're normally around. Yeah. It's no, it just seems like a bad idea. As much as I miss the Murphs and Earths, I'm not feeling it anytime soon.
What about a CDC hazmat suit? We can all walk around like boy in a plastic bubble.
Yeah, totally like the full hazmat, like
with
nuclear hazmat suits, and then you don't even know who's in there because we'll get the iridium tinted lenses like the Intel bunny people. God, there's an old reference.
But then again, the whole seal goes out of the way as soon as you pin your name tag on.
People walking around poking you from the back. So,
Kane and I were watching.
Chris Riley said, "If Dave Randolph isn't going, then I'm out." Ditto. If Chris Riley's not going to be there, I'm not going to be there.
I think we thought we should go to Chris's house.
Yeah, we'll have COVID Murph at.
I mean, it would still be Murph at his yard, wouldn't it? He's in the Midwest.
Which is really surprising that there isn't a convention there. I mean, it is the center of the United States, and who cares about the rest of the world?
Yeah.
I think we should do it on a tropical island somewhere.
I was thinking a cruise boat, the 3D printing cruise.
That would be fun outside of COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Just like,
And I've been watching the new version of The Stand by the Stephen King thing.
right.
Are you familiar with it?
I haven't watched it, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
It's hard to believe that started filming before COVID, because I feel like somebody was like, "Hey, you know what people need to see right now? How much worse this could be, I guess."
I have to put this one on the screen. I lick my hand before and after every handshake, and I don't want to give that up. So I'll wait a little longer. Tradition is important.
It's
That's
funny.
gotta be about the funniest thing that I've read, seen, heard in a long time.
Oh, right when the whole crud thing started a year ago, visiting with Terry, and we ended up watching Outbreak. It was like the first movie to watch.
Oh yeah, all that stuff was trending on Netflix right when all of this took off. I guess so that everybody could see how it was. I'm just disappointed we didn't get zombies.
Yeah.
Just saying, you know. But you know,
my flamethrower doesn't have enough pressure though.
When all of it first happened and there was all the lockdowns and stuff, it was right at the time when I was finishing up Fallout 4. And so then like I hadn't gone out of my house in like 3 months, and then all of a sudden I go somewhere and I'm driving down the road and there's nobody out. Like there's nobody out driving around, which is weird to begin with. But then there's like somebody walking down the side of the road, and I thought, oh, they're gonna die.
Oh, geez.
You know, like it was my thought, because like I hadn't been out of the house and I'm playing Fallout 4. So
where I've been working lately, my normal commute on a morning would be about an hour and a half to get there. Lately, between a half hour and 45 minutes, because there's nobody on the road.
Well, that says a lot for New York.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only like a what, 2 mile trip?
It was 26 miles from my house to the place I'm working lately. But it's usually an hour and a half.
26 miles, and it takes an hour and a half.
Yeah, on a highway.
It's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous.
The worst I've had was that section between Throgs Neck and the George Washington Bridge. I think it's like 4 miles and change. That's taken me 4 hours in the past.
Yeah. So are they talking about moving Murph to June? Because I guess we would be on it right now, wouldn't we? You're like,
yeah, it'd only be what, 3 months away.
Yeah, I haven't really heard any updates, but I've been kind of avoiding social media a lot lately. That's
why I had to call you direct and ask you what you're doing.
I mean, I post once in a while, but I've really been staying off of Facebook, so I don't know what's going on in the 3D printing community on that side.
Has anybody heard from Chris B regarding Earth, when they're planning on doing their next one, whether they're going to try for next October or push it out of the year?
So much can change, though. I mean, you think if and again, I'm only talking about for our country. I know the whole world is different, but you know, if our government finally, I don't know, figures it out and gets everybody the vaccine, things could change very rapidly.
That's true.
You know, so
if the risk is reduced,
Chris said they pushed it to 625. I just don't.
So that's 3 months from now.
Yeah.
So 3 months from Thursday.
Again, I mean, they're gonna the vaccines are gonna have to really step it up.
Well, 3D Meetup Sweden has been postponed to 2022.
Yeah, I as much as I hate to say it, I really think that we need one more year.
I think
that
agree.
all efforts should be towards planning for 2022. And then like all of the normal initiative that you would put into 20 and 21 should go to 2022 and just make it bigger and crazier, and you know, like
more gooder.
Yeah, more gooder.
More betterer.
Definitely more gooder.
There we go.
So I don't know. I if they actually have it in June, I won't be there. So none of you guys should be there either. No, I'm just kidding.
Dave Randolph, I don't expect USA to get above 30% even when fully available. Is that, you think, permanent, or
you think that's because people don't want it, or because our systems suck that bad?
Or a combination of them.
Yeah, I mean there is a whole handful of people. I mean, like I know people personally that don't want it, and to each their own.
Yeah.
Because of my health issues and my risk, I'm all for getting it.
My parents got theirs. They got their second one when I was down visiting last month, and primarily because they're getting up in years, and Dad's got the respiratory issue.
Your dad's listening.
He knows he's getting old. He was there for the whole thing.
The whole life, you mean?
They got theirs. It's their second one, so they're all set. But I'm
they said people don't want it. Politics and idiot reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to each their own. Everybody gets to make the decision as long as I'm safe. I worry about my family. I worry about my kids getting it. I absolutely don't want it, but
if it means I can go back to doing things more normally, then it's one of those things I'll have to suffer with and deal with and get it.
I don't want the masks to go away. I know there's a lot of like anti-mask people. I don't want them to go away because like I can go in the store shopping and people don't recognize me. So like
like the shirt doesn't stand out.
Well, I don't wear this in public. The town that we live in is not huge. I mean, it's got a huge retirement area attached to it, but the actual town is pretty small. So like everywhere I go, I run into somebody I know, but now totally incognito. It's pretty sweet.
I walked into a store the other day and saw somebody I haven't seen in probably about 6 or 7 years. And I had this mask up like this. As I walked in the door, hadn't even opened my mouth. He turns and goes, "Hey, Ron, how you been? I haven't seen you in forever." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
It's your eyes, man.
Yeah. Well, it can't be the hair because this isn't the same color it was 5 years ago. It's still there, but it was
Tony Ryan said, well, if 60% don't want to get vaccinated, that should move me up in the queue.
Hey,
that is true.
See, not when I read his 30%, I wasn't thinking 30% on vaccination. My brain shifted to 30% occupancy in buildings because they're running 25 now. So at least up my way.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I mean,
we still have waiting lines to get into stores.
Yeah, I was going to say that New York and California are two completely their own disasters.
Yeah, but they'll shove you right into a nursing home. They don't care what your status is.
Oh, yeah.
Sicker the better. Go
hang out with old people.
My grandmother turned 100 years old this week.
That is absolutely awesome.
Tell her happy birthday. Well, from us, not from you. We think you would, but
what's James, why don't you tell your grandma happy birthday? What is her secret to success?
I couldn't tell you.
You've never asked her? I mean,
well, the thing is, my grandmother has good days and bad right now.
Okay.
And I think most days she isn't fully cognizant of the fact that she's 100 years old.
So maybe that's the secret to success.
I'm half that age, and I have the same problem on a regular basis, James.
Yeah, when people ask me how old I am, I have to actually do the math in my head before I can tell them.
When you get a driver's license.
Like, I don't even know. No, I know what year I was born in, so then I have to go. Okay.
What year is it now?
Well, that's a current problem. Like, like I don't ever know what the date is. I know what day it is because based on my work week, but I don't necessarily know what the date is. And then it'll be really shocking to me because for those of you who don't know, Sean Shenanigans is moving down and is moving into my apartment.
I'm going to miss him by a couple of days.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
What's that?
Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky him. Oh, wait. But no, so like he's coming on the 30th, and like I looked at the date today, and it's the 20th, and I'm like, holy crap! Oh, in fact, it's the 21st.
He's gonna be here in a week and a half.
Oh my gosh! And I still have so much to do before he gets here. So,
well, like the airports, just make them circle until you're ready for it.
Yeah. Well, there's just a couple of things, and not that I think Grant is watching this, but like one of the things that Grant had asked for was the light in the. So there's a gap of about 10 feet. When you walk out of the apartment door, there's like a 10-foot walk to get to the actual door that takes you outside, and it's like just a garage area. But I've never had a light in there, and that's the street side where like the main spot where Grant was always coming in and out, and it'll be the same for Sean. And Grant was like, "Can you put a light in?" So I did. I mean, I put a little motion sensor light in there that works about 50% of the time. Like I'll stand in there and go like this, and it won't come on.
So when the sun's out, outside. He opens the door. There's enough light to see. When he closes the door, you get.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that thing, and it's actually a security camera with a motion sensor light on it. And if the power goes out and comes back on, it takes about 10 minutes before it works, and it talks like it's like connecting to the Wi-Fi. And
I've got one that does that, or had one. It broke.
It's like so creepy. So that's part of this whole wiring thing, is to put a legit
That, and I saw he had a 220 line run to the toilet seat. So I don't know what he's planning.
Well,
for
and
Sean,
the bed frame.
And the bed frame.
Yeah.
But that was one.
You guys are sick.
Don't roll over in the middle of the night.
It'll shock you.
Don't wet the bed.
Mitch said, "I'm buying one of his knives. I can't wait." Well, soon his knives will be made in the Fun King garage, which is pretty exciting. So
I'm gonna have to order one.
yeah, I'm hoping that Sean and I can do like a lot of collab. I'm hoping we can collab.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, a lot of collaborations. I mean, if nothing else, I know that he's way better at filming than I am. So, you know, I'm hoping we can work something out where he becomes my full-time camera guy, and maybe even my video editing guy. And then maybe I'd have more videos. I don't know. It's 220 is safe if you don't complete the circuit. Well, technically, all electricity is safe if you don't complete the circuit.
You're showing in the background of all your videos will work for rent.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be a lot more fun. I'll share with you after. I know this is project talk, but I don't want to talk about this project yet because this is
Still a surprise.
It's a big one. If I can pull it off, it's going to be just amazing. So, and that'll be a Fun King Garage video, not a Fun King 3D video.
Building an ultralight.
Well, that would be cool. I already did that though.
Did you?
Yeah, I built one with my high school shop teacher. I actually got to fly it. I had no idea how to fly.
Well, flying shouldn't be a problem. It's the landing that's an issue.
I've never been trained as a pilot, but I've flown 3 times in my life. Yeah. So once was actually with a guy who trains people. Like, you know, he's a flight instructor, and we were up flying around. He just took me up flying one day, and so then the plane, and I don't remember what kind it was. I'm not a plane guy, but it didn't have double yokes. It had, you pull a pin and the yoke would hand over like this to the other side. So I'm flying. He doesn't have, like, he's got pedals, but he doesn't have the yoke. And so he's like, all right, you know, bank to the right a little bit. And we're going, and he's like, just line up with the runway. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm waiting for him to take the yoke back, and we're getting closer. And I'm like, well, what are we doing? He's like, just keep heading for the runway, push the yoke in a little bit. And I thought, there is no way he's going to have me land this thing. I'm starting to kind of poo myself a little bit. But no, he did take the yoke back and land the plane. So
Okay.
That's why I'm still here today. Oddly enough, though, in that flight, I found out the girl I was dating was cheating on me because we flew over my buddy's house.
Uh-huh.
Guess who was there?
Wow.
The good news is her and I are no longer together, and he and I are actually still friends.
Okay.
So, you know, keep making wacky ladder solutions. You'll be flying again soon. I don't.
Yeah, but a medevac doesn't count.
Now, wait a minute. Do you guys really think that ladder idea is that bad? I mean,
Yes.
Really?
Actually, I didn't think it was that.
So when I told the wife about it, she's like, "No, that's a terrible idea." And I'm like, "No, wait a minute." And she goes, "Well, is it safe?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure." And she's like, "Nope."
Pretty sure. That's definitely what you wanted to hear. Pretty sure.
Well, that's it. She's like, "I don't want to hear pretty sure. I want to hear 100%." I said, "Well, how about like 99?"
Let me put the phrasing this way. If she asks you, have you been faithful, and your answer is pretty sure, I think you get kicked out of the house.
Mostly.
I mean, we all have that one time at band camp. That doesn't count, right?
Oh,
It's
oh,
Martin's here. Hi, Martin.
Martin.
How's the volcano, man?
He's all hot and bothered over there.
I hope it's not affecting you. So, but I don't know. I again, it's not. I won't be on it every day.
Every other.
No,
you
really, I
only
only have
one
to
day,
get up
and then you'll be
there.
on your back instead.
Well, right. I have one job very soon that I have to be up there, and then I probably won't be back up in that area.
Can you work with a helmet and elbow and knee pads on?
I could, but
There you go.
that would feel really weird. Again, as long as I climb to the top and clip in,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Now it's 12 feet off the ground, the top of the ladder. Well, it's what, 10 foot and 20 inches, however that works out. What? 11 feet 8.
Yeah.
So that's all fine and dandy, except for my fall lead is actually 14 feet. So no,
I've been there, done that.
How could you even ask such a question? Oh, I don't know, but
Volcano is small and cute.
no one's in danger from it. Well, I had seen some pictures on the internet this morning, and they said that it was like making the sky red and stuff.
Lord.
Glenn Pinata at his house.
Oh, let me know when, because I got to come over. I saw you had a couple of sticks in the garage.
People just to poke at me. So
Oh, we busted open. There's no candy inside.
no, there wouldn't be any. Well, maybe
Maybe.
on a cheat day there might be some candy in there, but blood test came back for this week. My A1C blood sugar is down by 0.1, which I didn't expect because of the holidays.
Oh, really?
I thought I was going to be in trouble with the doctor, but no.
It was actually your blood.
It is my blood.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't cheat. No, I got the war wound to prove it. Look at
Oh, yeah. Nice color.
I hate needles so much, man.
Really?
I hate needles.
So no tattoos.
I would rather like stab myself and bleed into the vial than to. Xander's the same way. We apparently have very sensitive skin, like physically, not emotionally. I'm very thick-skinned.
Needles don't bother me.
Can't stand it.
Means
So now the lady that did it this week, she was really good. I mean, like I felt the initial pinch, and then like the lady the last time, like every time she went to switch the vial, she's like, I said, "What are you doing?"
Roto-rooter.
She's across the room going,
Oh, gotta do that one again. Your fear is needless.
"Oh, what did I miss? David Randolph, you pay a bonus. I don't even get paid in gum."
David Randolph have RV parking.
Oh,
Mitch, I'm hiring.
fear is needless.
Hiring for what, Dave?
Dave's hiring.
As I said, Mitch 3D, I'm hiring.
Hey, everybody, Dave's hiring.
Hire me. Oh wait, I'm in Canada.
Well, he could hire you to run the Canadian branch, and then you guys could get the Jesse filament box.
What would they call printed solid in Canada?
Printed solid, eh?
Really? You guys are that low hanging on the fruit stuff there? Wow. I expected better from you guys.
I would have just said printed sol.
Printed sorry? Sorry.
Oh,
I don't know why. When I said about you wearing a helmet and elbow pads, I actually pictured you wearing like a Spaceballs helmet up there.
Well, I was thinking totally a motorcycle helmet.
I went Spaceballs.
So one of the YouTube channels that I watch all the time called Cars and Cameras. They could use your support. Hop on over there and subscribe. They only have 952,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
it is amazing.
They need
to
another
me.
48,000.
Yeah, they're shooting for 1 million, of course, but it's John and Isaac, and they're actually pretty funny, and they do just a lot of like go-kart and mini bike and stuff like that. But they have a thing between them where if one of them does something stupid, they have to wear a helmet all day, and it's one of those like open face motorcycle helmets, and they have to like spend the rest of the day wearing a helmet. It's pretty funny.
I have to get that link from you later.
Yeah, Cars and Cameras, they're pretty awesome. So. But if you're a 3D printer, I don't watch your channel anymore. No, no, I have all my 3D printing subscriptions on my FunKing 3D account, and then everything else is on my personal account, which I now want to move them to my FunKing Garage account. it's hard to keep up with all of this stuff.
Every time you say Fun King Garage, I hear something else.
That's okay.
You want my hearing aids?
Gary Busey Special Edition safety helmet.
They get printed, eh?
Take off, you hosers.
Jose and Hoseby.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It was,
So, what are you working on there, James?
I am designing a case for the screen so that I can use it like a desktop monitor.
Excellent.
for the 9-inch?
Was that?
For that 9-inch screen?
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question, and this isn't directly to you. This is to the hive mind as a whole. I have a couple of old tablets, and I have a couple of old car DVD screens that they don't the screen portion of it still worked, but something else went wrong with it.
Yep.
How hard is it to figure out the pinout on a screen to use it elsewhere?
Okay, so here's the big thing. Most of the time, if you take it apart, you can get a model number or a number off of the screen itself.
Yeah.
And you can often just pop over to AliExpress and order a board that looks like this one that connects to the ribbon cable coming off whatever the monitor is and gives you HDMI, VGA, and all that stuff inputs.
Awesome.
Really?
So, I'm not going to swear that's every single time, but I certainly know there are people in chat right now that have had success with it as well.
Yeah, because I have 4 of those because we would buy the 2, one player, one, idiot screen.
Yep.
And I have 2 sets of those now that don't function as players anymore, but the screens work fine. And I mean, I'm sure they're not going to be super high resolution or whatever. And then I have probably 4 or 5 old tablets, 10-inch tablets.
And if your tablet has an HDMI out or whatever it is on it, or a laptop, you can turn on and feed the other screen and light them both up.
Yeah, well, I mean, or use them in other projects or whatever. So
the other thing that comes up fairly frequently too is that you can, if you have an old laptop where the board's dead but the screen is still good, you can do the same thing. So you can get yourself a 15-inch 1080p screen off of an old laptop, buy one of these boards for $25 or $30, and have a working display.
I'm gonna have to take a look. I've got a 17 or a 20-inch laptop display at home that the main unit won't even boot anymore. But it'd be nice to put the display to use.
yeah, it's all about the recyclings.
Yeah, I'm thinking one of those infinity, or what do they call them, the smart mirrors.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I think it needs to be touchscreen for the smart mirror, doesn't it?
Well, no, I think you could make it any way you want. It's just going to be weird to have a keyboard sitting in front of a mirror.
Keep it on the sink.
Yeah. So, Mark said, yep, I've done that. AJ said it works. Easy to find control boards from laptops. So that's, yeah, I mean, all right. So as I've said multiple times, I'm a bit of a collector. I don't like to use the H word, so I'm a collector. And I hate to throw something away if it's going to be good and useful later.
That's fair.
Even if later never comes. So yeah, it's
It's got me looking this thing up. Chicken helmet.
So, but I got to make a bracket for this TV. This it's not the small VESA adapter. It's the really big one.
Yep.
But the computer itself, the fanless computer, uses the small VESA to mount it. So I got to adapt it so that they can go together because I want to put that TV on a mount in the garage. I'm tired of looking stuff up on Google with my dirty hands.
So apparently they've got 2 different versions of a chicken helmet. One is a helmet that makes you look like a chicken head, or one is actually a helmet for your chicken to wear.
I don't have a chicken, so I'd have to get the one that makes me look like a chicken. So that's pretty nice. And when I was in college, one of my quarter projects was a communication. It was called the driver to passenger communication device. And it was pretty much a microphone and a speaker inside of a helmet for it was for off-road use in a dune buggy. And so I had to bring all of this stuff to school to do a talk on it. Well, so I'm driving home down I-4 in Orlando, and I've got this oddly enough, bright yellow helmet on. I'm driving a green 1977 Aspen station wagon that used to have wood paneling on the side, and instead I covered it. No, I covered it with marble contact paper. So instead of being wood grain, it was marble grain with a black trim, and it was this beautiful metallic green. And I had a 4-foot CB antenna that was mounted on a 6x6 piece of stainless steel that was bolted right to the middle of the roof. So, and the car was jacked up 2.5 inches. So it was like a crazy car to begin with. And here I'm going down I-4 with my crash helmet on. I'm like, and like I'd get next to people and I'd drive right next to them. And I go like this. Yeah, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
You're just
H word, is that a ham radio operator? No, I mean order.
I have to say, after being in your garage, if you're a hoarder, you're completely failing because you got room to walk.
Yeah, should I took a picture of the garage from up above. Should I share that? Let me pull
From the top of your modified ladder?
I mean, nothing in there could give me away. I mean, nobody could figure out I really live in Georgia and not Florida.
Yeah.
All right, I'll share this with you. I shouldn't, but so this is the current status of what my garage looks like. So this bay, yeah, it shows my arrow. This bay right here, it was what I consider my lift bay. That bay always stays open or I can't get to my lift. Where my truck is parked currently was completely full of stuff just a few weeks ago. And when my truck broke, I scrambled to clean that out to get it in there. And then the rest of it is just crap that's just piled up over the years.
Is that the new tank or the old tank?
No, that's the new one. That's the 240 gallon. Yeah. I just recently water tested it. It's all good to go. I just got to figure out how to get it from where it is to where it needs to go and then start the plumbing process. It's going in this garage.
Well, I'm here until Saturday if you need hand carrying it.
It's like 4 people minimum to carry that thing. It's like 1,400 pounds.
Okay, it's only 700 each. It's
ridiculously heavy. So, but and then this is my 1976 Corvette Stingray that could be yours for the right price. Yeah. So that's my catastrophe. Look, here's the crate for the FK1.
Oh, you don't keep that up here?
The crate? Good God! It's hard enough to get the printer up here. So, yeah, I don't know why I felt that I should share that with you, but there it is. So it's not a garage; it's a warehouse. It is. I am. There is no doubt. I am blessed. I have an amazing wife. That garage started. It was going to be. When we decided to move and build a house, I said the only catch, the only requirement I had was that I wanted a bigger garage than what I was leaving, which was oversized 2-car garage. You could park 2 cars side by side very comfortably, and I could put another one this way. It was extra deep, and it was a fantastic garage. I always had 2 cars in that garage, and then I had all that space in the front to work. So when we went to move up here, I started pricing things out and found out that steel buildings were very affordable. Now, I hadn't priced the concrete underneath it. The building itself was actually really affordable, and I designed it as originally a 30 by 60 and immediately decided I wanted to go 40 feet deep. So it was 40 by 60. And then I'm trying to think the order of operations, but I was flipping houses at the time and making ridiculous money,
stupid money,
like $10,000, $12,000 a month flipping houses. And so I said to the wife, well, it's only like $5,000 to add another 20 feet onto the garage. And she said, go ahead and do it. So again, not checking concrete prices. So I then made it 40 by 80. And then my dad was going to live where the apartment is now. Where I was standing in that picture was actually on the wall that divides the apartment from the rest of the garage. So what you guys were seeing was actually, 4/5?
Yeah, say about
4/5 of the garage.
Yeah.
So my dad was going to live in that area. He had a travel trailer, and he was going to pull it in and have a living room. It was going to be divided off into its own little thing. Back the RV in. The RV would have been in the garage. He would have had an outside living room out of the RV, to have a little bit more space. But when he wanted to go, he could just go. Plus then he would add a regular bathroom.
With the plus.
Yeah, then he got married and moved to Georgia. So like he was out of that space, but we had already added the 20 feet by that point. So it turned out to be 100 by 40. If I had to go back and do it again, I would have made it 50 feet deep instead of 40 feet deep.
You would have gone bigger still, not smaller.
It doesn't matter how big you go. It's never big enough. But I will tell you, the concrete cost a little more than half of what the building did.
Really?
Yeah, it was like $30,000 or $31,000 for the building, and it was almost 19 grand for the concrete.
Wow.
There's 92 yards of concrete under that building because of the footer pads and stuff. It definitely is never going.
Well, they got what, 2 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot?
They're 4 foot by 4 foot by 2 feet deep, underneath all the big hoops. Yeah. So, but
Keepers.
hey, no fair. Your garage actually has a car in it. 4 right now. 4 cars in there, which is really weird. But it's not a garage; it's a warehouse. I like the rocket pod on the back of the Corvette. Oh, those are the T-tops. I boiled the battery. I was charging the battery, and the charger didn't shut off and boiled the battery, so I took the tops off to let the hydrogen gas get out.
You didn't want to just go in there and smoke a cigarette?
I had a battery blow up in my face years and years ago, which just explains a lot of this. But I don't play with hydrogen gas.
Have you made any headway with your truck?
It seems to be running fine now. It did blip on me yesterday. Same corner where it died the last time, which is really weird. But I went around the corner and all of a sudden it felt like the transmission slipped. But I just changed the fluid in it, so it may just had a bubble in it. Because then I drove it all the way down to Lowe's and back, and it was fine.
Or the guy who lives in that corner house has a little EMP cannon.
Like shoots a little gun at me to kill my truck. But no, so far it's...
You're not ready to trust it for long distance yet. But
no, not necessarily long distance. I don't mind taking it. I'm not willing to put a trailer behind it yet either. So, Mitch said, "Wow, that's a big garage. Like there could be a makerspace in there. There is a makerspace in there. That whole garage is a makerspace. I mean, it's
where the FK1 was built.
Well, yeah, part of it. I mean, some of it up here.
Your cutting was done.
All the cutting was done down there. Yep,
your tapping was done down there, I think. Right?
No, right here.
Did you really? You made the mess here?
As stupid as that is, I did it right here, and I was picking metal shards out of the carpet.
I was going to say, that must have been good on the feet.
Yeah, more in concrete than in the building. Yeah, well, what's really funny is when we were building it, I was working the street side. I was inside, standing on scaffolding, screwing the panels of the wall, because you do the wall panels before you put the roof on, because it squares the building up and solidifies it. This lady pulls up in a car, and she goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Good." And she goes, "So what is it?" And I said, "Well, it's my garage." I mean, in fairness, it looks like a fire station. At least the fire stations here. I mean, the fire stations are all metal buildings around here, and they're all gray. And I'm like, "Well, it's my garage." And she's like, "What kind of garage?" And I said, "Just kind that I work on my car and keep my crap in." And she goes, "Well, it's not staying here, is it?"
Oh, it's portable.
And it kind of took me back for a second, and I looked her dead in the face, and I said, "No, man, we're just test fitting it here. Next week, we're moving it across the street. It's like 300,000 pounds of concrete underneath it, but yeah, no, it's not staying here." So there was a lot of upset when we built that. There was like some people calling the county, the building inspector, or no, the code enforcement officer came out and he said, "I just had to see it." He said, "We get about 3 calls a day about it." And he said, "I just continue to tell them there's nothing we can do. It's permitted. It's allowed to be there." So, and since I built mine, the guy across the street's built one. We built one for the next door neighbor. It's becoming a thing.
Yeah, if you got the property, you get interior storage space is much better than just letting it rot in the yard.
Yeah, well, the code here I don't know if it is anymore, but as long as you met your setbacks and it wasn't over 40 feet tall. I said, I could go 40 feet tall. And then the wife said no.
Yeah. No, you'd be blocking her view.
So, but it's all good.
4 stories tall.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's glorious. So in that picture that you guys could see, like where the Corvette was, and then where all that junk is before it gets to my lift bay, that plate, wall to wall, that section is actually going to have a second story in it, so that I can store all my Christmas decorations up there, and hit and miss stuff. Now, the scary part about that is, I'm going to put stuff up there that I don't really need, and I'm never going to see it again. It will just always be up there. And then years and years from now, like when Zach or Xander owns the house, you'll see the picker guys from History Channel in there digging around, see what I got.
What you should do is you should barcode all of it and have an inventory. Just scan gun it in.
No, that doesn't sound fun. Well, thanks for being here, AJ. It's much appreciated. It was nice seeing you again.
What time is it there anyway? I know it's time for sleep, but beside that.
About 11 o'clock, midnight, 1 a.m. I don't know. It's pretty late.
Yeah, I haven't been in a lot of the chats lately, so I haven't seen AJ around in a while.
But yeah, so I want to document all that process of building the walls and stuff in there for, Fun King Garage channel. However, I can't 11 p.m.
Okay.
However, right now I can't afford lumber.
Yeah.
It's
lumber prices are stupid.
Lumber's the new gold.
Yeah.
Used to be copper, but now it's lumber. Lumber is $8 for a 2x4. That used to be $3. It's ridiculous. So.
Yeah, and it's shaped like a hockey stick.
Well, even at $3, it was shaped like a hockey stick.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt as bad at $3 for a hockey stick.
So, well, and unfortunately, like if it wasn't load bearing, I would definitely look into steel framing. But to get load bearing steel framing, it's going to be cost prohibitive as well. So,
just make Xander stand out there and hold it up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I looked at running I-beams across there too, but I'd want to do free span then, and that's big I-beam. I think it was 24 inch to do free span that far.
24 inch
high? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
I think would that have to be in a micro lamb then? Probably the same, if not more. Yeah. But now you're back to lumber, which is
yeah, nope, you put wood on there, boy, it gets expensive. So has anybody out there, and I gotta reach out to him and see, has anybody heard from Felipe? He's been very quiet lately.
They're still building lumber mills.
They're still building lumber mills, yeah. Unfortunately, the lumber's not growing as fast as it needs to, but which is actually the problem.
I would blame it on transportation costs with everything being restricted. Really?
Oh, you guys are killing me.
With kindness.
Penny here, penny there. Anybody sponsorship bag.
This segment now sponsored by Builder's Mart for $20.01. Getting my sponsorship back since we can't get Coke Zero or another company to sponsor. We will eventually find a sponsor to do these streams. We just
it's okay. We don't need trees.
No, we don't need trees.
No, through electrolysis, we release the oxygen from the water.
Yeah, we don't need water either.
Yeah, just got to figure out what to do with the hydrogen that goes along with that. But you store it inside your Corvette.
Yeah, well, I did that. Yeah, I bought a charger from Harbor Freight.
I was going to say HF. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be an
Charger from Harbor Freight.
What's that?
You bought a Dodge Charger from Harbor Freight?
No, I bought a junk charger from
Harbor Brakes.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, I buy a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight, and for the most part, it's good stuff. And this charger had decent reviews. There was some problems, but I left it unattended, and I shouldn't have, and it just boiled the battery. So, if you can get more red iron to do your second floor, you'd be better off. Yeah, but it's very expensive. Steel prices are through the roof too. So I've been watching Monster Garage, and they took an old Stingray and made it run off wood.
Yeah, but that's more expensive than running it on gasoline.
Yeah, I don't actually. I couldn't tell you the last time I drove that car, and I was only charging the battery. I have a battery disconnect switch on that thing because it's got a phantom draw on it. But it was still, the battery had still depleted. And I was only trying to get it running because I thought that's what I was going to have to put a tag on when my truck died.
Okay.
And, if I couldn't get
I really don't think
car.
Well, Zach doesn't seem like he's a car kid yet, but I don't think he would have had a problem with you dropping him off at school in a vet.
I did that for Xander when he was a wee lad. I drove that thing and picked him up. Now, the air conditioning doesn't work in that thing. And it was, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was hot, and I was just dying. But he was like the coolest kid getting picked up in that thing. So
I was doing a network cabling job at a school, one of the districts up by me, and I guess they were just finishing up for the day because we had to wait for them to get done and all the kids out before we can go in and start taking the ceiling tiles out. And one of the dads came in with his Lamborghini, and I actually showed the car to Barnacles when I was at one of the meetings. I said, I can't believe this is what kids are getting dropped off at school or picked up at school in. And he looked at it. He recognized the car in the paint markings. It was some kind of weird special edition. It was even more expensive than most Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
And I think this kid's just taking his lacrosse gear, just dumping it in the back and jumping
Well,
at
when
him.
you have money, you don't care about things.
Like, oh man.
Everything is going up in price these days. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. If you like Chinese printers, you'll love Harbor Freight tools. No, in fairness, Harbor Freight makes some stuff that's pretty good. I have a lot of Harbor Freight tools. I worked there for a while.
Well, they offer what, a lifetime warranty on their hand tools, right?
Yeah, anything that's Pittsburgh brand, you just walk in and, I mean, I guess there's other brands now that are warranted too. They're Icon series, which are way expensive. So, but
if they're willing to back it up with a lifetime warranty, I mean,
yeah,
it can't be any worse than what you used to get with Husky or Sears and stuff like that.
right.
When it breaks,
Well,
you fix it.
I kind of gave up on Craftsman when they went to China. And not that I have anything against China. I buy a lot of stuff from China, but like they changed, like the wrenches went and got bigger because they were using a lower grade of steel. So the heads on the wrenches got bigger. And like, so then you'd have a problem getting them into certain places.
Instead of getting a quarter turn, you're getting a 16th of a turn.
I gave up on it. I went to Cobalt, which, is Lowe's brand, and they're made in Taiwan. Most of it is, but they don't have a full line. There's like missing stuff in between.
The common sizes.
I'm actually looking at now moving to Tecton.
James has a belt loop on the back of that in case you want to wear it on your belt.
What's that?
Your monitor thing there, you've got a belt loop on the back in case you want to have a display on your hip all the time.
I didn't expect you to figure it out so quickly.
I thought that was for the head strap.
Oh, what is that game where you got to put the card on your forehead?
Oh, yeah.
Heads up or something like that?
Yeah.
He's going to make a digital version.
Digital version. Mark said the only reason Glenn worked there was for the employee discount. Well, actually, I went to work there. I didn't really need to work at the time, and I went to work there just because I wanted a job.
You were bored?
Yeah, I thought it would be cool to like go and help people. Help.
I don't think I could get that bored.
It didn't work out that way. Like I never got to work the floor. It was always I was either on the register or doing warehouse stuff, which kind of sucked. But I knew the whole store forward and backwards even before I went to work there because I had shopped there so much. But the employee discount was nice. You get 20% off of anything and everything. But when I worked there, they didn't realize that you could stack the 20% off coupon with the employee discount. So like you could use a 20% coupon and then it would still take 20% off the bottom of that.
Oh, wow.
Even on Black Friday sales, you could stack the Black Friday sale with your
off.
employee discount. Yeah. So then it wasn't too long after I worked there that they
fixed their
they
system.
fixed it. Yeah. First they told us that we weren't allowed to do that anymore. That the system wasn't going to let you, and it still did. So our store owner or our store manager kept letting us do it.
I've been having so many problems.
I didn't go to work there for the discount. I stayed for the discount. What's that, James?
I've been having so many problems with Fusion since the last update. The behavior's completely different. Yesterday, or occasionally I hit this thing now too, where like I'll go to type in an absolute or like an absolute value for a measurement, and it just keeps clearing it back out again and putting it back to like whatever. So like like you go to create a rectangle, you drag the mouse out a little bit to get like the preliminary shape, and then you can punch in the X and the Y to resize it.
Right.
I'll punch in the X, and then I'll go to punch in the Y, and it just keeps reverting back to whatever I dragged the mouse to. And now this time, I was trying to rotate around, and I'd rotate, like I drag once to rotate, and it would take it out of rotation mode, but it would also turn off fillet mode. So I don't.
You don't have a key stuck on your keyboard. It's causing
I do click it angrily quite often, so there's always a chance. But
yeah, just bang the keyboard up and down a couple of times and see if it starts behaving. Type with a hammer. It doesn't fix it, but you know why it doesn't work.
No, and you feel better.
And you feel better. What's the orange button?
function
They belong over there.
for all the stuff up here that I don't use.
I thought that was like a special Fun King color.
It's the fun button. You push that, and then like the disco ball comes down and the confetti goes off.
I don't know why. I just thought that camera up there was attached to the fan blades.
No, she wrapped her on the light.
Don't make that wireless.
Yeah, as much as I've been avoiding Fusion because I use Rhino, the CNC plasma table I'm looking at, their software works really well with Fusion. So I may end up having to learn it anyway.
Dad was recently messing around with Tinkercad.
Kay's in the other room with her phone slaved to your mouse and is messing with you, James. I do that to my kids once in a while. What were you saying?
Dad recently started messing around with some Tinkercad. He's was doing some things for Mom, and they needed something to hold them. So he designed his own little tray box type thing to put them in to keep them all together. So he came, typical thing, he went on YouTube, found somebody who did a demonstration of it. He's like, oh, if you do it this way, then you can get your sides exactly the right size. And Dad's like, well, why didn't the guy in the last video say that? And well, they wanted you to watch this one too. But yeah, he actually did a pretty good job with it. So I haven't messed with Tinkercad, actually printed anything out for me yet. I've thrown a couple things in there.
Well, Xander's robot came out of Tinkercad, and his rocket came out of Tinkercad.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't really think that because I always had Rhino.
Rhino, yeah.
So I don't think I ever really, I played with it a little bit way back in the beginning and realized I could do everything out of Tinkercad. So Mitch said CNC plasma tables have gotten really cheap. Yeah, I'm looking at Langmuir systems. Of course, I want the good ones. It'll be about $4,000 by the time I'm done. But for what it is, that's still really cheap because like Plasma Can, you're way over 10,000 for their table.
Now, does a plasma cutter detach so you could use it
hand
operated too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just a thumb screw to take the gun out, and then you could just use it as a handheld.
Okay.
But almost never would you. Like you could just always cut it on the table.
Yeah.
So and it's funny
if you had cut something under your truck or something like that.
I watch some of these YouTubers that have the table, and well, in fact, I was watching one and I can't remember who it is, so I'm not going to call them out. But they were actually building parts for their plasma table. Like they were putting a shelf underneath on the legs and making a shelf to hold the laptop and stuff. And he was hand cutting everything with a grinder. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't you just cut it on the plasma table? Yeah. Like you have you're cutting it for the plasma table.
So, I was looking at one of the regular CNC units usually on the website was a build your own CNC. And the guy had this whole thing about putting it together with hand cut pieces. And as soon as you get your first one built, recut all the pieces
so that it's more accurate.
So it's more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I thought about doing, I've got a half a bag of MPCNC parts, and there's people that have adapted those to be plasma. So it would be really easy to put one of those together relatively affordably and then use that to cut steel to make a plasma tape. I just want to buy one that works.
Mm-hmm.
Like as much of a DIY guy that I am, I would rather just buy one that functions.
And that one you're looking at, that comes with the plasma cutter.
You can get it with the plasma cutter. Like it's an option.
Okay.
It can go either way. So, but yeah, plasma cutter and TIG welder are on my short list of things I want to own. So,
what do you have in mind that you need both of those for?
Well, TIG welder would allow me to do pretty welds, but also stainless steel and aluminum. They're much better for doing things like turbo intake piping and exhaust systems and stuff. So
you're planning on going fast again?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mitch said at work I had to hand plasma cut stuff. It's really difficult to get anything cleanly. Yeah. So yeah, some of the plasma torches you can get a standoff tip. It's got like two little nubs on it so that you don't run the consumables into the material. It kind of keeps it self-spaced. And then of course a lot of clamping of straight edges and stuff. But yeah, to like freehand cut a shape, you'd have to be pretty
So it's like training wheels for the plasma cutter.
Yeah, I mean it's like a regular nozzle guard, but it just has two extra little, like, they're not wheels but nubs that stick down. So you can mark where to bend the sheet metal. You can make really complex stuff. Yeah, Swag Off-Road has some really cool, like, they have bumper kits and stuff. And what they do is they end up they cut out a section, but they leave little tabs in there where you bend it, so that, like, you can, like, bend a 90 degree and then you just weld it in, but it's not two free pieces, so you're not having to worry about lining stuff up.
Because the thickness there, because it's actually relieved, it wants to fold where it's thinnest on those tabs.
Yeah, well, you still have to put it, like, in a bender or whatever, into a press brake, or clamp it down and bend it up, but it bends on those because it's just like little tabs inside of there.
Right.
So
that'd be weaker on the tab than it is in the center of the meat. No.
You go too slow, your curve's too wide; too fast, you gouge and not cut. Absolutely, but that's the same true with a oxyacetylene torch. I'm usually the going too slow kind of guy, but yeah.
So you burn the big holes around it.
Yeah, it's all jagged and stuff, and slag hanging off the bottom, and
the volcano cut.
Yeah, I don't use my oxyacetylene setup very often anymore. Pretty much, I just use it to heat stuff up that I'm going to bend. So, like, I'll clamp a piece of steel in the vise and heat it up until I can bend it where I want it to be. Or if I have to modify a wrench to reach a bolt, like, you heat the wrench up and bend it. A few of those.
Well, then it sticks to your hand, so you can't drop it.
Right. Yeah, you definitely know it's there. Mark said I have the Harbor Freight plasma cutter. It does good. I've heard good things about Harbor Freight's plasma cutter, but it's not cheap, which is probably why it does good.
Yeah.
But
it just seems if you're going to start spending more money, you want to get something with more of a name.
Right. Well, and the consumables are the big thing. Is you got to make sure that the consumables are readily available. So if you get a name brand one, then your consumables are always.
That's true.
Because you got to get tips and stuff for that. So same with TIG welders.
You don't want me to shrink myself again?
No, I wanted to cross my legs and then I couldn't fit under the table.
I thought I'd have to get myself shorter than you again.
I am absolutely exhausted. James is just over there just knocking out projects.
He's hiding behind his name.
Yeah, he's Wilson from Home Improvement.
Howdy-ho, neighborino.
600 plus. Yeah, that seems like a lot for a plasma cutter from the freight. I mean, I know it's not, but there's if you look on the YouTubes, there's been a couple of people who've bought like the cheapest plasma cutters you can buy on Amazon, and I mean they're like $250, and they're tiny. They're like they're tiny.
Like
you can just hold it in one hand, and they actually do pretty good. eBay has consumables, dozen or so for $40. That's not too bad.
The like button's not even there on the phone version.
You're not allowed to like us.
I guess not. I was like, I gotta click a like button real quick.
I think you have to close the chat. If you close the chat.
Oh, there it is. There's got to be more than 4.
Really, you sad sacks. Only 4 thumbs up.
I guess I can refresh this page.
No, we had way like 20 last time I checked, I think.
Yeah, 27. Okay, I'm sorry for calling you guys sad.
My phone says 4. My phone says.
Your phone's a sad sack.
Yeah.
Uncle Ron's phone's a sad sack.
It's an Apple product. What do you expect?
I thought this was going to be a simple, quick to hammer out design, and it's taken me basically the entire stream.
At least you had something to do.
That would take me an entire month, James.
So my next
most of that on the phone telling you, hey, I need it to be this size. Can you do it for me?
my next big project that I'm going to be working on with the sponsor, which is an electronic project. I figure I think I can get 5 videos out of it.
Really?
I think there's enough content there for at least 5.
So that's what, 9-10 months?
Oh, at least, yeah. They'll take me through the end of the year. This is that adhesive from pulling the bed off of the
Really?
CR10 S Pro. Yeah, it's gross.
I wonder what it is.
I don't know, but I'm gonna probably have to bring up some gasoline or something to get it off of there.
It's definitely not a standard adhesive.
No, I don't really have anything.
I don't have any of that citrus spray.
That's what I was just looking around for.
You're done.
There's a product, and I shouldn't tell you because you guys are all going to go buy it up now, and I won't get any more. But at the Dollar Tree, there is a cleaner called LA's Totally Awesome. It's a citrus-based cleaner. Don't breathe it.
Yeah.
Don't breathe it. It'll choke you. But that stuff works phenomenal. If you have an RV that gets those black streaks on it, it'll take the black streaks off. Just don't let it dry on there because it does weird things. And if it's a painted surface, don't put it on there.
We've got a sprayed citrus cleaner we use at the office for things occasionally. And I found like the IBM cases and monitors and HP printers, you can spray it on. You can get, baked in toner, the, smokers.
The yellow.
Yellow. Most of that comes out.
Nicotine.
Do not spray it on an Epson printer. It's a different kind of plastic. It dissolves plastic.
Well,
that was not fun to find out on a customer's machine.
I think it's Gugon makes a spray that will release silicone caulking.
Really?
But don't put it on the plastic of a fish tank because it will also release the plastic of the fish tank.
No, I sprayed it on that Epson printer and I went to wipe it with a paper towel. And it came off the other end, and part of the paper towel was in my hand, and the other part was stuck to
into the plastic,
into the emulsified plastic.
Well, there's a reason that my 240-gallon fish tank has an aluminum upper frame now.
The plastic one doesn't exist
because the plastic one just like crumbled.
Oh.
I had taken it off. I'd taken it off the fish tank, and I'd sprayed that Gugon in there, and then like I tried to, and it sat on the bottle, let it soak for a while, so I sprayed it and went away. Well, I came back and it had snapped and it was like hanging off of the side of the table. And I'm like, so I went to pick it up and it just like crumbled.
It made it brittle?
It wasn't even brittle. It was like it was made out of compressed powder at that point.
Oh, jeepers.
Like it literally just crumbled. And I'm like, okay, well, let's never use that on plastic.
But the plastic was clean.
No, it still had silicone stuck to it. So instead, I got some 1.5 inch aluminum angle, 1/8 inch thick, and cut it to size and welded the corners. And now the top of the tank's aluminum. Yeah.
That became a crazy repair for a simple silicone fix.
Have you all seen those micro welders? I don't know. I mean, I've seen some really small welders, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Has anybody tried those aluminum sticks? They say you got to use like a butane torch.
Yeah, well, I used MAP gas,
Okay.
And it depends on the brand of rod that you buy. I bought the Burns-O-Matic ones. They're not so great. Like they show on the internet how you can like
fill in a hole in a can.
In a pop can.
Yeah.
Maybe my torch was too hot, but at the point I tried to weld in a hole in a pop can, it just made a bigger hole in the pop can.
I mean, does it actually have any strength?
No.
When you put the pieces together? Or is it like soldering them together?
Yes and no. All right, so I was playing with some 1/8 inch thick aluminum. It has to be super, super clean.
Okay.
You have to take a stainless steel brush and just brush the absolute crap out of it. And that stainless steel brush cannot have been used for anything else. Like if you scratch on steel with it and then you'll
put oxidation of some kind in there.
Yeah, you'll contaminate the aluminum and then it won't weld. Which is really true if you're TIG welding or anything. You want to use like if you're using a belt grinder, that belt should only be used for aluminum. If you're using whatever. But it was very hard, and maybe it was the pieces I was using were so big, but it was very hard to get enough heat into the aluminum to get it to truly penetrate it. So I welded the top side of the aluminum, and so I look, and it didn't flow all the way through. So I flipped it over to do the bottom side. Now, when I'm saying heating, I had that torch on there for probably 25 minutes, just running it all over before I even laid the rod down to get it hot enough. Because aluminum just dissipates the heat so fast.
That's why they make the heat sinks out of it.
Right. So I flipped it over to run a bead on the bottom side, and then it just melted the rod out from the top side. Yeah, it was an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And I tried the acetylene torch too, but that's just too hot. I just melted the crap out of the. So Mark said he's going to send a link. And for that, I'm going to assume.
Hey, James, is that Visa spacing so you can hang it on the wall in a standard Visa mount?
It is not.
Oh.
This is for a very specific project that I'm working on that will be a sponsored video. So.
So they're going to have their logo embossed into that back section to represent them.
They're not requiring any of that. And I've done that in the past, obviously, like when I did the IC3D stuff and all the other stuff. But I don't think I'm going to go that route. The 3D printer that I designed and 3D printed for the first Earth we went to, remember the blue and black one?
Yeah.
It no longer exists.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I looked at it the other day. I was going through all the old, because like, first of all, I haven't printed anything on it since I think the first week of the pandemic. I did some ear savers or whatever on it and it wasn't working great. And I started going over it because of the pressure of the belts and stuff over time, the PLA is deformed. So I started tightening stuff back up and I'm like, this is pointless. And since I haven't been using it, I stripped all the parts out of it. I cut the section out that I had. I'm drawing a blank on who signed it now. There's a section I had somebody sign on it. So I broke that section off and then took all the electronics out. They're in a drawer and the rest of it's off to Never Neverland.
So now you got to get pieces that match the piece you already have that's signed and just bring printed pieces like that, have everybody else sign it in the future and create your stacked wall of broken parts that have been signed.
Well, the snag I ran into with that, or the thing that I finally realized, is that because of how porous 3D printed stuff is, where he signed, it just bled out.
Yeah. That's how I ended up with my Alice Cooper Lego head. Because when I went to paint the eyes, it just bled into the face.
Yeah.
I think it's in a box in the garage.
Oh, from the last event you were at?
From Maker Faire 2019.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's going to sit in a box up here or sit in a box down there. What's the difference?
Every once in a while, look in the video, I'll look to see the background there to see what's changed.
Usually the only thing that changes is the cats get up there and knock stuff down. There's all kinds of stuff still laying down back there from them knocking stuff off the shelf. So, but I still have my Chris Riley head smoke.
Oh yeah,
there from the, and then this is my favorite benchy right here.
You've signed one?
Yeah, signed by Daniel. I have a little one that's signed too. It's
Martin's head over there.
Yeah, Martin's head. Yeah, I have two Martin's heads. I have a small one somewhere too, but I have a little benchy that was signed by Daniel Norrie too. That was printed by James.
Oh yeah,
James printed it and Daniel signed it. And
printed it on the cherry.
Yep, that's correct. In the hotel room.
Yep.
I got one of Martin's landscapes at home, still sitting.
I have two.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's laying down, but I have
two.
two.
It's still sitting in. I haven't hung it on the wall yet because I actually, it's one of the things it's simple enough that I wanted to try to do my first like actual 3D part design with it. Because I want to just make like little corners like you use to hang, put pictures in an album.
Yeah, I got it.
But I want to make them thicker with a screw hole in the back so I can just stack them on the wall and then
drop it in there. Well, I ended up with two because he sent me one in the mail and I picked on him for not signing it. So he gave me another one signed. I believe he gave it to me at one of the events. But I brought that one and had him sign it. So like, he
didn't take it back on you? Give me that.
No, you can't take back a gift. So, John from You Do It said, "Where's Uncle Ron at?" I don't know. This is his younger brother.
Yeah,
Uncle Nor.
I'm trying to pretend that I'm crispy. What's going on, John?
Oh, got another Canadian in the room.
Is it Mike?
It's funny. I actually thought I had Mike's shirt with me in my luggage, and I went in there and I didn't have it. I'm like, oh no, I wore it like 2 days ago. I don't have it to take with me.
Yeah, I can always find his shirt in my closet because it's like black, 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 gray, black, 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 bright orange, black, black, gray, gray, black, black, dark blue. Oh, Uncle Ron's lost way too far south. Yeah, it's
unfortunately it's only temporary.
Yeah, it's Uncle Ron's work at home week, and he figured out that he could work at anybody's home.
So Yeah, provided my coworker doesn't come down with the creeping crud and I got to fly back to New York to actually go to the office.
Oh,
That would suck so bad.
now, did you have to tell them that you were leaving, or you just go?
I just went in this
Yeah.
case. I mean, I checked with my boss, my because I'm actually rented out to another company.
Right, yeah.
So I checked with my actual
owner.
boss, and he's like, if they ever called you in, since you've been working from home on a week you weren't supposed to be there, I'm like, no.
No, it'll be this week.
Yes, they said they never called you in a year. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
it'll be this week.
And if they want me to quarantine when I get back, my coworker said he'd cover an extra week in the office, and I'll stay home another week.
John said we're hitting Fort Lauderdale in a few weeks. Yeah, I'd definitely wait a few weeks because right now, boy, it's crazy down there. But
Are you driving, John, or flying?
yeah, unfortunately, Fort Lauderdale from here is like 4.5, almost 5 hours.
Yeah. My brother-in-law's brother and his wife just moved up to this area about 6 months ago, I guess now, and they were from that area, a little further south. But
Yeah, no, it's a horrible, horrible place.
Coral
Horrible
Springs,
place.
Coral something.
Flying.
You got a bigger pair than me. I wouldn't get on a little tin can crammed in with other people.
Oh, but it's such a short flight. It was like 2 hours in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so quick.
The shortest flight I think I've ever done, I went to visit my cousin in North Carolina, and he had to pick me up in Virginia Beach, or whatever that was. So the flight went from Virginia to Baltimore, because that's where Southwest Hub is. I think I spent more time on the runway than I did in the air. It was like, boom, boom.
Laser weld. Okay, so
The weld's light.
when you said, have y'all seen those micro welders? They're light welders, but they literally weld with light.
Really? Well, I know the fusion splicers I use for fiber optic weld with light,
Laser welder.
but actually it's like an electrode that melts the light too.
I'm gonna have to look into this,
Yeah.
but I bet they are crazy expensive. Here, I just want to learn how to TIG weld. I've never even touched a TIG welder. Coming up through school, we were lucky to have welders way back then.
Welding's something I've never tried doing at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I want to try it one of these days.
Yeah, MIG welding is, I won't say it's easy, but it's fairly easy. I mean, pretty much if you can draw a little ease like this, you can, and the welders are getting
My handwriting
easier too.
sucks. Does that matter?
Yeah, it does actually. Like a lot of the welders now, you pretty much just turn a dial and tell it what you're welding, and it'll set the settings for you. So it's getting a lot easier. But like mine, you have to flip open the side, and there's a chart to know to set your wire feed and stuff. But even then, it's not exact. You gotta do a little practice. Try it on a scrap piece. Okay, well it's
I say same as one of these guys. Your nozzle might be running a little hotter than it says. The plastic might be a little
right. Yeah.
Might want to be a little hotter than it says on the label.
Yeah. So, but in high school, we had a really nice. It was a Napa brand, so I don't know who actually made it, but we had a really nice MIG welder, and then we had arc, and we had an acetylene set, which is how I learned to do all of them. I hated arc welding, stick welding, hated it. The nicest thing about MIG welding is you could put down, be ready. I dream with Genie your helmet down and then start welding. With arc, as soon as that thing touched, bro, you were up and running. There was no trigger.
Yeah.
So when I got out of school, went to buy my own welder, ran down to Sears and bought me a Craftsman welder, MIG welder, and I probably paid $500 or $600 back then, and we're talking, early '90s. And my welder was so cheap that it was hot all the time. There was no putting the wire down and pulling the trigger. As soon as the wire touched, it was. So, like the one feature I like the most about MIG, I didn't have, but I currently have an arc welder, which is like 1,000 years old, and it's heavy. It's heavy. I mean, it's got a huge transformer in it, but I have an arc welder. I have acetylene. I have my original Craftsman MIG, and then I have Hobart MIG, the one that I bought just a couple months ago. But I really want TIG for doing aluminum and stainless. So,
when I'd ask you about those running boards my sister's truck. My brother-in-law was like, well, you'll have, whatever we need to try and tighten those things down over there. I said, if worse comes to worse, we'll just weld it on.
Weld them on.
My sister, I don't think my sister would go for that, but
No, that could cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So
only around the gas tank.
even then, unless it's leaking or you're welding directly on the tank, it's fine. Mitch said TIG welding is somewhat easy to start but hard to master.
The FK1 can make a good MIG welder.
Well, it sucks down about the same amount of electricity. So
You have to plug it into 2 different outlets.
well, that's the plan. Is to plug it into 2, so that the electronics run off of one, and the heat bed runs off of a secondary one. And then, if I go to say Maker Faire, it's not going to matter. I only get one plug anyway.
Right.
So I'll just put it into a strip. Who cares? But here I have 2 dedicated 20 amp outlets right there. So,
Hey, dude.
hi, bud. Dinner's ready, but the stream's not over. Well, it was 5 minutes ago, and I didn't even realize.
Oh, it was.
Oh, well, the
Someone's watching the time. You're not.
stream's over.
This is how far I got in the design.
Well, it looks pretty good.
It needs to stand still, and then I have to actually see if it'll actually hold all the stuff that I'm hoping it will. Usually I do test fits along the way, and I was like, yeah, just go for the gusto. What's the worst that could happen? So the only issue with these monitors is that when you attach the panel, the control board, the inputs end up at the top. So this is the proper orientation, and this hole cutout right here is where HDMI, VGA, and all that are going to be. But
That's not necessarily a bad thing either, though, because then the cords won't mess with the stand.
that's true. Yep.
You have ports facing up collect gunk.
Well, you just don't get any gunk.
Just use gunk be gone.
You'll have to
Just silicone around them when you plug it
So
in.
you have to design port covers so you can plug them in and block up the hole.
That's right.
Or I could just not worry about it.
There you go. Because you probably won't anyway.
That's right.
So
I think that looks all right.
So you can put the plasma head cutter head on the FK1.
I could. I mean,
It's
a 3D printer is just a big CNC machine.
exactly.
Yeah. So no, I could absolutely build my own. I mean, I could order all the parts from open builds and build my own, but I don't want to. I want to buy one that already has been proven. Plus, Langmuir system, their software is really sweet. At least the software that comes with the Pro one. I guess the cheaper one comes with Mach 3, which is hit or miss. So, well, that's going to bring us to the end. The very, very end.
This is the end.
It's the end of the very final. What's 3D printing?
Goodbye, farewell.
I'll never know.
Oh, no, I'm not going to sing. I wouldn't do that to people. It would be the end.
Yeah.
We'll never know what 3D printing is.
Bum, 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 bum.
The beginning of the end. Well, you have to end one thing.
Yeah, say if John was driving down to Fort Lauderdale, you'd have to go sort of kind of past here anywho.
Well, no, because we're on the other side of the state. He'd be coming down 95.
Yeah, like halfway across.
Just realized, Glenn, not only that, this is we've got about 30 seconds before we get out there. So this is the last 30 seconds you guys will ever have to have the opportunity to sponsor What's 3D Printing.
That's right.
Next time they have to sponsor a project.
Yeah. So most likely.
Look at Mitch.
Mitch, unsubscribing now.
Well, thanks for entertaining us. Unsubscribing now. We will most likely be back next week. But it will officially be the first project talk with James and Glenn, where we just talk about our projects, which is really all we've been doing since the start of these live streams anyway.
So you're going to come up with a website to go along with it where people can post their questions and what they need answered with help with their projects?
No, that's what the chat is for. So, but no, we'll still be in that same 4:30 time slot next Sunday. But 2 completely new hosts. Instead of Glenn and James, it's going to be James and Glenn. You'll like those guys. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
One does have a funny accent, and you'll have to figure out which one that is.
Depends on where you live.
One's got a funny accent. The other's got, I don't know. I was trying to think of something clever, but I'm tired.
One says sorry, and the other one says sorry. No, we're not stopping, Mike. We've changed the name of the stream to Project Talk with James and Glenn. Eventually, it'll just be Project Talk.
Because James and Glenn will be dead.
Yeah. Well, just in case I have to get rid of James, I do want to start working a little harder at having a guest host, maybe once a month. So, which means that I might have to like directly reach out to somebody and be like, "Hey,
I can't come down that often."
Well, it's not that. Like I've put an open invitation, and people are like, "I want to do it," and then they never reach out to me, Mitch. They're like, "I want to guest host," and I'm like, "Sure, just shoot me an email, and I'll give you the details." And then I don't hear. So I absolutely want to have Mitch on because I have a million questions about BattleBots.
What are you using on the back end of the stream you push out here? Will you and James meet up ahead of time?
It's all StreamYard.
StreamYard. And how many people can meet up in there at one time?
I think it's 10 now.
All right. So, I mean, what about, like a Wednesday night or some other night during the week and get a handful of people and find out who wants to get together? And
I see what you're saying.
And it's never live streamed. That's just, hey, let's get together, BS, see what we want to go over and who can make it this weekend.
Oh, look who rolls in at the very end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, always late to the party.
And I'm going to miss you by a couple of days, dude.
Yeah, no, we never want to do more than 3 unless it's like a really special situation where like we had 2 celebrities on, like famous people, like when we had David Hewitt.
Yeah. And who else?
No, but I'm just saying, 2. Just because then it gets to be crazy. Even having somebody here, like I feel more compelled to talk to you, and then I leave James out in the cold.
Yeah,
it's true. I felt very isolated during this entire process.
No pun intended, because it is very cold where James is. So
hell?
What?
It's a cold day in hell? What?
Cold day in Canada. So, but
every day's a cold day.
Mitch said, "Sure, I'll do a BattleBots episode, but I don't want it to be a BattleBots episode. I want it to be a Mitch is joining us episode, but I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about BattleBots."
Especially since it could be a project.
Also, you're not allowed to talk about anything.
Not only that, but I just want all the inside scoop on being on TV. So, but no, so yeah, please everybody join us next week. Same time, same bat time, same bat channel. Can I say that without getting gigged?
How about same bad time, same bad channel?
No, it's a pretty good time. Might be a bad channel, but it's I
was waiting to get backhanded. I was leaning away.
Yeah,
we're here for a good time, but not for a long time. So have a good time.
We're here for a time, but not a good time.
And I just caught you all the donations. They just got auto-claimed by whoever sang that song originally. That's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. John said, Uncle Ron is famous. Yeah. But see, the thing is Uncle Ron is famous from a perspective of people know him in the social medias, but they don't necessarily even know what he looks like.
Yeah, because I don't have my picture up there, and I don't post those pictures. But I don't look like I did last year.
No. But yeah, it's always fun to have a live guest in the studio. But like because of stupid COVID, I've been very selective. So
thank you for letting me in.
Yeah, but Sean will be here. Sean will be here in like 9 days. So we'll have him on occasionally. I'm not going to make him come in every week. Just
you should. That should be part of his. That should be part of his rental agreement.
Part of his rental agreement. Yeah. But known as Racing Mouse, not anymore.
Yeah. Well, I am still Racing Mouse on the some of the other stuff, but the O's is 0.
I made the Uncle Ron thing stick because I started making my kids call him Uncle Ron, and then just kind of stuck.
And I didn't want to use it first because of Uncle Jesse.
That guy. Who's that guy?
There already was an uncle, and I didn't want to. But then when I found out his name wasn't even Jesse, I didn't care so much.
that's even funnier, right? So, but no. So yeah, 4:30 next week, next Sunday, 4:30, right here.
I might be home by then. You might be able to watch it
with the new format, and I'm hoping to have like an actual format to follow, which will be new for me. And if you guys have projects that you want to talk about, if you want to like email them to me ahead of time, Glenn with 2 N's at funking3d.com. And we can put it on like the official, is it syllabus? Is that the right word for that? On the schedule.
Where does Glenn with 1 N go to?
It goes to an auto bounce message that says like something along the lines of like, you got close, but you weren't quite there. I can't remember.
I figured you would have done something with it.
So yeah, if somebody wants to try that, you can try that. Sean King 3D is going to happen. Actually, I think it's going to be more like Sean King Garage. It's going to happen. Yeah, so that's all I got. I don't really have anything to push. I will next week. I will talk about my next big project, the one that's going to be partially sponsored. I would have talked about it this week, but I want to have the item in here, and it's as big as Uncle Ron. So
that's saying a lot.
The project is Uncle Ron, isn't it?
What's that?
The project is Uncle Ron. He's a fixer-upper.
It's a robot.
I'm a tear down and rebuild. I'm sorry.
It's a robot Uncle Ron. I'm building a robotic Uncle Ron. No, it's a cool project. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. The one I was telling you about. Okay, so the object, the item, it's fun for people who have never seen one. Like, well, everybody's seen one, but maybe not up close.
Okay. Yeah.
For them to realize how big those things are. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Like when you get to see the expression on people's face going, that's not real. Yeah, that's really how big they are. So, because everybody sees them from a distance, hopefully. If you're not seeing it from a distance, we may have different problems. So, but no. So going forward, Project Talk, still looking for a sponsor for the streams. Well, we're looking for a sponsor for everything. I mean,
well,
I'd take a toilet paper sponsor at this point. I don't really care. I'll sell out to anybody. No, that's not true. I'll only sell out to the people that I believe in their products. I have a Maker Box video coming this week, and I have the Jesse subscription box video coming out this week. So that's fun. Can't wait to see what color filament is in there. You got anything, James? You got anything releasing this week?
So I will be releasing a video this week. I guess it doesn't really matter. I dug out my original Game Boy Advance from like 2002 or whatever, like the pre-fold one. I've got right here, this guy here.
You're very tiny and you have a banner in front of your face, so
that works fine for me.
Okay.
It's actually better.
Sean said, "I'll sponsor you with my everlasting love."
Banana.
So stalker.
So this guy here is my original Game Boy. The power switch is shot on it, parts missing and stuff. So the first sponsored video, which I'm not actually using their products, but I told them what I was going to do, and they're like, "Oh, we'll sponsor that anyways." Is doing a teardown cleaning. If the power switch needs to be replaced, I'll replace the power switch, and replacing the shell with a wood grain shell for this.
Cool.
So bit of a restoration project.
3D printed wood grain shell?
No 3D printing involved in this one. I'm just trying to think.
Project Talk.
Wow.
Here we go. This is the new shell. Let's see if it'll show up the.
Oh yeah, okay. At first it just looked like a brown turd, but I can absolutely see the wood grain in it. So
brown turd.
Well, they don't have termites in Canada, right?
It looked chocolate, is what it looked like when you.
Chocolate turds.
How long would a plastic game case last between chewing on it and melting it in your finger?
Oh, a chocolate game case? Oh, that'd be delicious. So and those videos.
So the thing is, there is a guy around Christmas that built a new shell for his Nintendo, like his NES, out of gingerbread, like fully functional NES out of gingerbread. And he put a blooper at the end of it because he's like walking over to show his son or whatever, and he trips and it falls and it just shatters. And I think it's like I think he had to rebuild it because it was before they filmed it, and he just starts like it's censored, but he just starts cursing. He's like, "Guys, I finished," and it's whoosh, gone.
Mitch said, "Boxy Pixel sells machined aluminum GBA cases." That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty fancy. There's a channel, The Retro Future, I think it is, and he did a rebuild of one in a aluminum case. So, but their aluminum case for the folding one turns into a non-folding one. It's just a solid, kind of looks like the original Game Boy, but it looked pretty good.
Cool. And that video for your Game Boy is coming out this week?
That is the plan.
That's the plan?
I've taken 2 days off this week to try and I've taken 1 day off this week specifically to try and redo a bunch of the stuff down here and get stuff organized, because right now whenever I want to film something, it's like move everything else out of the way, and so I'm doing new shelving. And
that's what as we were coming up, I said, Uncle Ron, I said, I don't even know how much stuff's on the bench. We haven't been up there in 2 weeks. I gotta go clear the bench. So this
you'll notice that I did not use the overhead view at all.
So he just grabbed one edge and dumped it on the floor.
Again, the horizontal surface means it holds everything. So, but
if it's flat,
Sean wants you to put your wood back on camera.
That's funny because he actually sent me that message in private too.
So, but
that means he's serious.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I got.
So, garage.
we're now 20 minutes past time. It's time to go. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the point where I say to everybody, thank you guys so very, very much for being here. Thank you for this run through what's 3D printing, and I hope that you all join us for Project Talk going forward. I think it'll be a lot more fun because it'll be on topic.
A wider variety.
Dying of the COVID. Sean said, "I'm serious. I didn't see it." So.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Yeah, hold that back up. I'll continue on with my spiel.
I'll actually pull it out of the bag.
Oh, look at that! We get it out of the bag. Oh yeah, that's way better out of the bag.
It's also significantly darker than it's showing up on camera. My camera's lightening everything.
It looks less turd-like.
Well, not the inside. The inside, there's no wood grain. It's just poop.
Totally poop. So, but yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, these streams would be absolutely useless without you guys. We look forward to whatever the future brings us, with or without sponsor. We were hoping for a sponsor because that would have given us some income to be able to provide cool giveaways, but we will work around that eventually.
Less cool giveaways?
Yeah, it'll just be cheaper and crappier giveaways that we buy at the Dollar Tree. In fact, we'll just do Dollar Tree gift cards for $1. But
raffle off for $1.
But super important. Thank you for each and every one of you that sponsored the stream today, regardless of how long it lasted. It was I enjoy those battles, mainly because mainly because I reap the benefits of them. But it's always funny to see you guys going at each other at 1 cent a piece. But maybe that should be the rule: is you just up the last guy by a penny so that there's not these huge.
That's like a poker game.
Catch. I mean, like I always appreciate the money, but it's like I feel bad taking your guys' lunch money. So, but thank you guys. Thanks. We'll edit that out in post.
You left your lips in the garage, didn't you?
Thank you guys so much for being here. We love each and every one of you, and we will see you next week under the new title of Project Talk with James and Glenn.
Wait, do we have to go with the new sign-off then?
Yeah, you can't do print on.
I always do print on Fun King 3D. I mean, what would you do? Project on? No, that sounds terrible.
Beat me up.
That's why I went with the more generic Stay Creative on my channel.
As always, keep dropping those super chats.
Oh, man.
No, but we do thank you guys. We love each and every one of you, and we will see you back 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, next Sunday. And Project on. And as always, until next time,
print on.
Print on.